don't have, like I haven't for quite some time. I don't have anything like scripted for this live. We're just going to talk about random topics. Probably a lot of current events, probably some other stuff thrown in there. And this is, for entertainment purposes only. My thoughts, commentary, and opinions are not always right and can change. I like it when people help me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to put my. I'm glad nobody's in. Now I'm talking in the microphone and usually talking for the handful of people. The volume should be better now. Is it better, Gloom? I forgot I didn't have this. Hi, Effie. How are you doing? And how are you doing, Gloom? Um, I was I made so many videos today. I did upload some shorts, but I have one full-length video. Hey, Keith, how are you? Happy Easter as each breath amplifies your mind's abilities to trigger your full peace and comfort more with every healing breath. Yes, and yes, that's nice. I'm glad you're doing good, FC. Gloom, are you doing good? Thank you for confirming the volume is better. Oh my gosh, what a crazy last like week. I think I've finally gotten and I do not mean this in like a pity me kind of way at all. I hope people know that. It's just like it's funny how you have almost 4 decades of life, over half of that technically being an adult, and you're still like figuring stuff out about yourself. And I'm like, it just was a lot for me to transition to a full-time job for a week. I know that's pathetic, I have to laugh at too. And then to go back to, like, not doing that in the next week, it's just, like, a lot, and I'm fine, everything's fine, but, like, I just was in a little bit of a rut, but I'm not complaining, like, a lot of YouTubers I always promised if I ever got monetized, I wouldn't complain about YouTube burnout. I am not complaining about that, it's just, like, kinda like any other creative process, you can't force it, so we had a good Easter. Happy Easter to everybody that celebrates it in any kind of way. I had never had an Easter egg hunt for our youngest son, who was 8 years old on the autism spectrum until today, and he did great. He was so into it. It was so great. And I got some fun stuff. I thought I had the dragon's egg. I do. I think I already showed this. I saved this because I know it's awful. I didn't send a package yet. I want to send a package to my oldest son, who is 19, but these were all over. Okay. And I want to say really quickly, as soon as I have more of an income, I will gladly like spend the money on shipping and everything and not use Amazon. I really hadn't used Amazon since Christmas until recently. We had Easter, a kid's birthday. So anyways, these are little dragon's eggs with these little articulated dragons. I thought these were so stinking cute and the collars are really neat. So I think I did a good job getting some stuff for the 8-year-old as well as the 16-year-old. I got him these magnetic rocks, like those rocks that are magnetic, but they're like a bunch of like 500 of the really little ones, so it's almost like a hand fidget. And I told a 16-year-old, if you don't want this, like give it to your brother, but like I thought that was so cool, and then they have all sorts of cool little Lego things, and, of course, I picked out the flowers. I got these little, Lego flowers, which my kid was into because he walks around with flowers outside all the time, so it was cool. He, like, destroys a lot of Lego projects as soon as we're done with them, but he kept the flowers together, so that was cool, and just seeing, like, if anybody knows what I'm talking, like, having a child like, I know in the disabled community, saying differently abled is, like, frowned upon by some people, but having a child who is not typical and then seeing them reach certain milestones at their own pace, like, it's even more, pride. I don't know how to explain it, but he was really into it, and he was saying a lot of words. He is saying more words. I have been really on it with the iodine supplementation. Hi, Roxana, how are you? And I learned from a YouTuber. Oh, hey, Mr. Carey, how are you doing? How was your family's Easter? That iodine actually contributes a lot to cognitive functioning. It's a really amazing thing. It is. I have a povidone iodine in my cabinet that's safe to use on cats and dogs, but it's like hard to find a disinfectant for cats. So anyways, iodine's really cool. Hey, Avery, how are you doing? It was fair. How was yours? Mr. Carey, I just said that my 8-year-old had his first Easter egg hunt ever today, and he did really well. He he started, so I hid a few of them inside. Him and his dad were out and they came home and he started finding them inside before I even said anything because that's part of how his brain works. If I told him we're going to have an Easter egg hunt and walked through it, he would think we're talking about right then and now. So I had to in the last few weeks bring it up here and there, but I can't say we are doing this or he thinks we are doing it right now. And I am working on like I show him a schedule and the calendar a lot to try to get him to understand the concept of time. And we do first, then a lot. Like, first we will do this, then we will do that. But it's just hard to prepare him for things in the distant future. Oh, goodness gracious, surfer. Um, my buddy says the worst part about having an autistic kid is having a 10-year-old that's smarter than he is. B. Kirkman, that's funny. Yeah, oh my gosh, all my kids. My oldest son was reading and writing when he was 4 years old. And we had, some people helping us that were like, oh, he's just memorizing the words as you're reading to him. And I was like, no, he really is sounding out words like at the grocery store. He was reading words like that and spelling them and writing them before he was like conversational. So I know it's like Autism Awareness Month, and I have a lot to say about that too. Donnie, how are you? Marvin, happy birthday. Oh, did somebody say, oh my gosh, Marvin, I'm so glad you said that, Mr. Carey. I totally didn't see that. Today is my birthday too. Birthday buddies. Oh, happy birthday, Marvin. I had a birthday on March 25th, and my son's birthday is coming up. He was born on Easter Sunday. Isn't that cool? It was different than this year's date, but anyways, B. Kirkman, that is so funny. How are you? Okay, that's weird that their comment is showing up when I hit them. I look like a hippie, kind of. That's cool. So P.S. So plus, are you in Florida by chance? No, Aiden. I used to live in Florida. I lived all over Florida. Melanie's birthday today. She's having Jose. That's cool. Who's Melanie? Hey, Lone Wolf. How are you, Miguel? I'm April 16th. Oh, that's so cool, Miguel. Um, yeah, I should know what I don't know that much about horoscopes, I think it's funny when people know a lot and they do seem to have a lot of truth to them, and I do think there's something to be said about, um, where the stars were when you were born or even, like, your birth order. A lot of it has to do with, um Hi, Addicted Demon Slayer, how are you? Uh, Go Rogo? What's that address? Donnie, what's up, Lydia? Seen anything weird recently? Oh my gosh. Are you talking about like in terms of YouTube content or like in the wild? Can you shout out to me because it's my birthday? It's your birthday, Jozo, or Melanie's? Happy birthday, Jose. Whoever's birthday is. Hi, Jeremy. How are you doing? Thoughts on being, I don't know what that means, Go Rogo, but I think it's funny and the stuff that's going on in the last few days. First of all, I don't wish any harm upon anybody, but whenever the airplane went down that was, the US airplane, the like air of surprise, like we've been bombing this country and it was like people were saying things like damaged. The plane was damaged. Like what kind of propaganda is that? The plane was damaged. You mean it was like downed? And I think it's really interesting that like they recovered the man at all. And I just wonder, supposedly there was a pretty bad gunfight taking place. So was he being held captive? Of course, like I just whatever the details are, it's hard to trust anything anybody says. And like somebody I follow, the crazy quilting lady, she's a really cool person who grew up in the Children of God cult and then she joined the military and she's written books on how a lot of different like organizations are cults, cult like and such as the military. And she made a good point. She's like, they don't know how many soldiers like they don't know that. They aren't truthful when they're saying they've killed hundreds of people. This is just her opinion. I'm not saying I share it, but I just think she made a lot of good points. She's like, it is extremely important for the morale of all soldiers for them to take every death extremely seriously and respectfully. Like they're not going to lie about tons of soldiers. Like our own soldiers would create, probably it would turn into a mutiny. And that's one reason. And that does make sense to me though, right? Like these people have such a bond that serve together. And I mean, I have really mixed feelings because I want to be like I have been my whole life, and just like as much as I don't agree with war, I respect the people that have served in the military and I appreciate those that do. But now that with everything going on, I'm sorry. The chat today is my sister's birthday. Did she tell you she wants you to come meet her big bad? April 16th, we renewed our wedding vow 16 years ago. Oh, that's so sweet, Mr. Carey. I'm working for NBC tomorrow. Stone Papa, that's so cool. I don't know if it's in lazy eye. One of my eyes is just like, you know, smaller than the others. My thoughts on Iran are I know it's not the oldest civilization, but it's a country that comes from what is the oldest civilization, long standing in history. And like what we did in, Israel, what we are doing together is wrong, and we are possibly destroying our relationships with countries all over the world. Just like how long is it going to take for us to recuperate, not only from like the things like the Strait of Hormuz being shut and not having the oil that we usually do going through our oil reserves? I'm concerned. We have older cars, and now they're talking about the ethanol being added to gas up to 15%. And it's like, in my opinion, I almost feel like it's like part of the reason this was all orchestrated. One part, I'm not saying this is the only thing. They knew that everybody that was like us, that had cars with very low payments or no payments, that are like 2010-ish, that whatever they needed to do to push us into the car market and everybody possible, like one thing they could do is try to destroy a lot of engines with like a lot of like I've just heard this. I didn't look it up myself. Some people said that Nissan says no ethanol added gas at all, period, in any Nissan. And then there's a lot of others that say 10% max. And now they're saying 15%. It's awful. I saw this video of a man in Cuba who created an engine that ran off of charcoal. It's just amazing what people do. It's kind of like hillbillies in Appalachia. It's like people that live rurally. You might think that they're ignorant and they might not know a lot of things, the things that they do know. They're like experts in all the most important things. Thank you, Austin. Christ is Lord. Lord is Christ. Thank you, Banana Man. That's nice. Good night, everyone. Got to work at 12 tomorrow. I said I'll be back to listen another day. Oh, thank you, Miguel. I'm sorry that I didn't see you say good night. Good night. Mesopotamia is the first urban civilization. Yes, Battle, you are right. But I'm saying like I was talking about like Persia, you know what I mean? The civilization that's still here and where it was. Happy birthday, Creole said. Thanks, Charles said. I'm the same way. Not going to say I have a lazy eye, but I had one that could use a job. Belly girl. Hi, I'm having an imaginary celebrity party. Okay, I'm not going to read that because I'm just trying not to get too off track. We're trying to like talk about uh I mean, I think it's fun when people ask random questions sometimes. Hi, Luffy, how are you? Special Master, you are special. You still cheering for Trump. That is special. Battle, you're talking too many conspiracy theories at one time here, lady. Well, this might not be the channel for you. Hey, Fendi, how are you doing? Bathy, how are you? CVT sucks. Bathy said. Ignorance user said. Well, there's nothing better to add to a conversation than a one-word answer that adds literally no substance. Do you know the percentage of oil from Iran that we get? B. Kirkman. I mean, we could produce all our own oil if we weren't idiots about it and we had like the refineries to refine it. Is it like 30%? I might be way off. What is it? DP Battle? She should stop talking. Damn, she's fine. So if you're pretty, you're not allowed to talk. Daryl, I found the same thing. Jeremy, I have a question for you. You can ask anything within a reason. The United States currently imports 0% of its oil directly from Iran due to longstanding trade sanctions, Mr. Kerry said. B. Kirkman, we get zero oil from Iran, so our gas prices shouldn't be going up like they are. See, this is another good example of like why the war machine is set up the way that it is. So like the rich get richer and the rest of us suffer. And Fendi saying hey to Mr. Curry. I think you meant Carrie. The man who wouldn't sell his water powered card uttered the words, they ended me. Oh, yeah, Mr. Money Coop, the channel Coop. I bring him up a lot. He recently made a great video. It was like an hour long, I think, where he goes into four different inventors and they all had seemingly like similar demises. Hey, Jory, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? Forgot his name, Mr. Moneymoo said. Happy Easter special. A hillbilly know how to catch a fish by hand, Errol said. We are a net exporter of oil, the one and only. So is this correct? Or can anybody confirm this? Is it true that we used to have a crude oil refinery in California that we shut down? It's just like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like we used to have so much more like military production. You know what I mean? Like we still do produce our own tanks, but we used to like produce more. Why did we like and I know why we did, but it's just so crazy the greed of a few rich men, how it like set us all up to fail. Haha, kidding. But I just want to drink some tea with you. Sing hymns, DP said. I'm still waiting on my Doge check, Tony said. That was Stanley Meyer money, Mr. Carey said. Yeah, right, Tony? That would be nice. That would be really nice. Did you vote for Kamala? I didn't vote this last election scenario. I'm just disillusioned with it all. I think they're both two sides of the same coin. I am a registered independent now since I was 18 years old, and I do lean to the right. But as of lately, I don't agree with a lot of what the right represents. You know, at its core, what it should, I guess I'm more of a like a libertarian at heart. At the core of it, it should be like smaller government, right? But like what it's turned into is the free market capitalism that we used to have being like all these monopolies and these people that have it's not free market capitalism anymore, basically. And my job didn't give any days off for Christian holidays, just wanted a little time off. Donnie said, I'm sorry about that, Donnie. Support from Somalia. Thank you, Scenario. And looking back on it, like I do think about it a lot. Like, would Kamala have been better? And I just think that the way our debt was, um, it is crazy to see so much evidence of the things that Trump and, like, Tulsi Gabbard said about not getting into any more forever wars, and we're not gonna, die send any of our brothers and sisters overseas to die in the Middle East anymore, and, like, here we are, like, it's just insane. Jesus loves you, Rosalia said, "Thank you." Oh, my earring almost popped out. Pope Francis said to vote for the least of two evils, so I did. You're the one that said Trump, right? Or I'm gonna assume that's who you voted for. I agree with a lot of your beliefs, and I said, "Well, thank you. It's always nice to be among like-minded people, but I don't expect everybody to agree with everything I say." You know what I mean? And I know I seem really opinionated, and I am passionate about certain things. I made a video that I'm uploading right now. It's going to be private before I make it public. You know what I mean? But it's like probably going to be late tonight or early tomorrow morning about Titus Morris. It's somebody that I've made content about. And if you have no idea who that is and you're not interested in it, good for you. I'm glad. But I have a few videos I'm going to private because I found out some details of the situation that I've spoken about and tried to bring awareness to that really disturbed me and that I didn't know. And I kind of want to like wash my hands of it. I don't want to keep making content on it, but I'm going to private all my other videos about him and, then I have a video that I'm, like, done going to upload about Isabel Brown, which I went live about that. I'm pretty proud of that because I got to tie in the Noahide laws being okay, so our nation is not founded upon Christian principles, and in 1797, the Treaty of Tripoli made sure to say this, and they're, like, trying to make sure that these, like, pirates didn't feel like they were, like, these religious people that hated Muslims, and that's what was going but they were like, "We are not founded on Christian principles." And then like, so there's nothing in any law that's about like the 10 commandments, but you have got to read. And I've been meaning to put it in a shorts. I should just clip it into a shorts. In 1990, George Bush Sr. signed into law this thing that says, like, our country was founded upon these principles. And if we didn't have these, all of society would collapse. And it's these seven Noahide laws. And if you don't know what religion that is from, take a big guess. It's not Christianity, though. And it's just funny to me that, like, I've said it before, I personally wouldn't wanna live in a town where there's, like, a call to prayer being said, like, I know what that sounds like to some people, but I also know some people will get it. I just don't but then I'm like, yeah, I've lived in towns where there's church bells, but personally, I like to live far away from everything, right? Like, I don't wanna live near any of it, really. But I do understand why people are like but at the same time, oh my gosh, it is, maybe I don't think there's anything wrong with there being a town full of Muslims either, I just we're taxed literally everything. Yes, Daryl, we're taxed like twice, 3 times sometimes. Ari, your dog just died. I'm so sorry to hear about that. That is really rough, and I feel for you. I've been through that a few times. It's one of the toughest things I've ever been through. Fendi, you hear about the 2 pilots and they barely got the second pilot and the other one they got Yeah, Fendi, I brought that up right before you got in. And they were talking about how the pilot they rescued, like, on the ground, like earlier today or whatever, that there was a gunfight. That's what I heard. Donnie, I really hope that Trump would have been less tempted to be corrupt because he's already rich, but I don't know these days, right, Donnie? It's like it's never enough for them. And once again, I know I tell the same stories, but third eye, what did the crow in the tree say to the crow in the road? I don't know third eye what. Maybe it was Obama, but yeah, the pipeline story in the Dakotas, I need to go back and refresh. One of my dogs is in here. If are you still in here, Spencer? Hold on. I'm sorry. Didn't want to show my messy dresser. There's Layla. Oh, I got the light on her. Layla. Layla, honey, people want to say hi. Hi, Layla. Oh, big stretch. Oh, I don't know if you can hear her. She's like snoring. Like she's so loud. It takes a lot of work and energy being such a big girl. Don't pay any attention to my half painted wall. Um, I was just gonna say something about this guy said he wanted to get $13 million. This guy that started a farm, and then once he got $13 million, he's like, no, now I have to get three more. And that's when he realized this is too much. Like it's just always gonna be like that. Tony Banksy. So there is, I guess it's a members only video where I went into it. There is a sect. You know how there's a lot of different what am I trying to think, the name, denominations of Christianity, as there is with Judaism, right? And there's this one that's like I think it's a offshoot of Hasidic, which are like the Orthodox, ultra, and like this, it's on like March something 1990. It was a famous rabbi's birthday, and that rabbi coined the Noahide laws in the 40s, I believe. And his whole shtick was he wanted to make Jewish people more political, more involved with politics. So he tried to come up with something that like I I don't know exactly what I should say about that, but he came up with these seven Noahide laws that sound a lot like the Ten Commandments. Like most people wouldn't think anything of them. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing about like circumcising a baby and using your mouth to get the blood off of it, which is a thing that they really sincerely do. And it's like, like don't cheat on your spouse, don't be nice to your neighbor, stuff like that. And so they're called the seven Noahide laws, and it's like this is what people live by. And it was an attempt to make more of a bridge between religion and politics. And in my opinion, from my standpoint, I think it was kind of a thing that was like, how can we infiltrate and be like, kinda like be like them, but we're still going to, I think it's one of those things. These are the same people where the Kabbalah and like, Jewish mysticism, the same, they dabbled in that as well. And then they tried to make this thing that took a lot from the old and then added some of the new. And so anyways, I do think maybe it was something that's like not a humiliation ritual, but like they have to put it in your face, like we're doing this, and like we're gonna write a spell words, you know what I mean, and like put it in writing. And it's just so interesting to me. One thing I was saying about Isabel Brown is she wants to shout propaganda, 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 and it's usually the people that talk about it like that, like a lot. Like if every single video I made about somebody, I said they're spreading propaganda, it's just like you're the propagandist when you're trying to paint this rosy picture and tell everybody to like do the same thing because of this. And she said that our country is a Christian country, and I'm not trying to like say that Christianity is wrong. I'm just saying that it's not, and there's a lot of proof that it's not. And if anything, she's the propagandist, um especially the way she talks about how pregnancy is like the best thing that ever happened to her. Hi, the official JD Sports. I'm sorry if you're not still in here. Jesus loves you. Happy Easter, Southern Fisherman said. Oh, thank you. Yep, Iran has the other pilot in their custody. Oh, I didn't know that, Fendi. Fortnite King, I'm sorry to hear about that. Layla, what up, dog? B. Kirk said. Subscribing just because of the brindle. Cold Sad Toast said, I have some funny shorts of my dogs. I have another one. Mr. Money Moves, why would Trump, a billionaire system is working for him, help the average working man? Well, it's just like we didn't. I understand completely why anybody did believe in him because we were sick of all the politicians. And once you reach a certain age, you've been disappointed by politician after politician. They all do the same thing. And I totally understand why people fell for it because I kind of did too, that like he was just different than the lifelong career politician. Mr. Kerry, there was a guy I was modding for like Titus, and he was obsessed with him until I told him when he admitted on video too, and then he was like stunned, haven't heard no more. Oh my gosh, I'm glad that you informed him, Mr. Kerry. Kentucky wins the national championship. Really, Donna? Of what? Is it basketball? Is it UK? Bosco Kelly, you're doing great, but if we would have had this in the 80s and 90s, we would have killed it on YouTube. Yeah, it's crazy to think about. I remember ICQ. Was that this random chat? Did you guys know what that was? Kind of like an AOL, but you could just get in random chat rooms. It was like the earliest chat room I've ever been in. 4,500 denominations of Christians, Special Master said. That's crazy. B. Kirk, yeah, they use their mouth for the blood and it's weird as fuck. Yes, I know. It's horrible. Nasty sewer serpents, dogs that like they don't have a clean washcloth on hand, B. Kirk said. Yeah, and like babies have gotten blinded by it and suffered lifelong repercussions and they still do it. Like it's just crazy the things we allow in the name of religion, you know. Jane forgot to love the world, gave his only begotten son, and whoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. John 3:16. Thank you, Jane. No, King. I don't do OF. Oh, hey, beyond category. How are you? Donnie, I strongly believe for my generation, most people are not Christian. In my experience, only around 30% say they are. Yeah, and it's just like there's a lot of people who aren't Christian, but they're Christ followers, you know? And I think that they are probably better Christians than a lot of the people that go to church every Sunday and call themselves Christians, you know? And that's another thing. Isabel does seem like a sincerely nice person. Is she just out of touch? Like I really don't think she's got bad intentions and she wants to lead people astray on purpose. I really do think that she's in love with her life and she doesn't understand because she's never been outside the pearly gates. Like, I don't mean like heaven, I mean like Siddhartha, that other people don't live like other people don't go to private school. A lot of us don't get to go to private school and have a nanny with our first child, you know? And you'll see. She even says, what's more important? She like, be, what is it? Be audacious enough, I think, to care more about loving people than what's in your bank account. Really? Really? You know how many people are going through foreclosure right now? I'm sorry. I have all my supplements in there. What's suddenly wrong with Trump? Seems the same as he always been. Clay Biggin said, "Well, he's broken every promise he made on his campaign." It's funny you said 30%, Donnie, because that's been in my head a lot lately too. Because somebody said, "Hi, stars, how are you?" There's like 33% of people believe that the Earth was made a few thousand years ago. 33, like, and they were kind of like ragging on religious people, and then it was like, and 30 some percent believe in Trump. I'm an atheist and I go to church sometimes. Even an atheist needs the good vibes sometimes. Oh, that's really nice, Anthony. I'm glad that you're open minded enough to do that. Just Googled it. It's 45,000 denominations. Special said, "Hi, Edge of the South. How are you doing?" I don't have WhatsApp. Hi there. You have beautiful eyes. Oh, thank you, Danny. 33 Masonic number. Yes, that's a very common number that is everywhere. B. Kirkman. And that recent NASA launch off, they said 33 a lot. B. Kirkman, you don't have to go to a church to believe or be a Christian. If I stand in my garage, it doesn't make me a car. Right? Gloom, God plan separated early Christians. One side believe his plan should not have interference. Other side believe you can interfere with God's plan as long as it matches scripture. Sound familiar? Are you talking about Jews? No, I don't know what you're talking about exactly. Um, I want to know what you're talking about. I am following along NASA to the moon. Yeah, that recent to the moon. And Disturbing Illusion made a really good point. If they have these really nice cameras inside with them, why can't they take one of those cameras and point it out a window? Give us something better maybe than the crap that we get. You know what I mean? Like the kind of quality that is shown to us. I am not saying I believe anything super strongly. I just don't think they're telling us the truth. I'm sorry, I should have drank that. Hopefully, they don't forget their golf clubs when they go back to the moon. Happy Easter. I'm saying it to everyone live on YouTube. Oh, happy Easter to you, PX. Hi, Claire. How are you? The Z word was invented by early Christians. Oh, really, Gloom? Hi, Claire. Oh, I think I already said hi to you. Someone said that whole thing was CGI. Really? I mean, I I've seen, I'm sure a lot of you have too, where they've definitely like photoshopped pictures of our globe where it's obviously like stamped the same cloud formations over and over. And I'm not saying that the earth is flat, but I do think that there's something they're hiding from us. And there's something like the hollow earth theory. And I brought it up a lot. God's plan, zombies. Yeah. Gloom. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, yeah. I've always been obsessed with like actual zombie movies. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing? I did have a good day, Michelle. My son had his first Easter egg hunt, my 8-year-old, and he loved it. I thought I heard him, but it was just my husband's something. The earth from afar tends to be like Bigfoot, so it's hard to capture. And if you do, it's blurry, B. Kirkman said. Yeah, that's a good point. Jay Howard, as a student in AV production, my teacher said the cameras are different compared to cameras on Earth. It's just something that I thought was a really good point. Why don't they ever point the camera at the window, even if it isn't the best? Like, neither is what we get, you know? And it's like it's such a time when the president's trying to increase our defense budget 40%, right? Did you see the list of things that are going to get cut? All these important, like it's just worse. It's like they're trying to cause the economy. They're trying to hurt people at this point. I mean, I think that was like obvious to a lot of us, but it's I didn't care enough to watch Edge of the South Side. Yeah, I just watched videos on it. Michelle, did I ask how are you? I'm sorry if I didn't. How are you? The Earth from Afar. Okay, I already read that. As a student in AV, I already read that. Oh, thank you, G. God was so busy, he sent Jesus, Daryl said. Christ is king, he is alive, Kyle said. That's awesome. I have had an okay day. Every day has ups and downs. Yes, that's true, Michelle. Gloom. The thing about Bigfoot that scares me the most, a big furry blob is chasing me. Yeah, I don't really get that scared of Bigfoot. Of course, if I saw one in real life, I probably would be scared, but just since you don't hear many stories of them actually hurting people, Donnie, I love zombies. I'm a big nerd for them. Really, Donnie? You know, the first Night of the Living Dead. Okay, am I thinking of the one in the 90s? Not the one in the 60s, the one in the 90s, the like collar, the first one like that was set in Louisville, Kentucky. I don't think it was actually filmed in Louisville, Kentucky, or a lot of it or most of it wasn't filmed in Louisville, but I always thought that was cool. Um, we do need to support our military, Jay Howard said. Yeah, I have mixed feelings on that when it comes to like supporting them help in ethnic cleansing genocide. You know, that is how I look at it. It doesn't make any sense to me that a few months ago it was like, oh, the Iranian people need our help. They're getting killed by their own government for protesting in the streets. We need to help them. Fast forward 2 months later, and it's like, we need to blast them to the Stone Age. Like, how does I thought that we were supposed to help them and it really is a good example of, um, the thought process of certain people, and I don't everybody's welcome here, but I really don't agree. Just like the other day, and Trump said, "We can't afford daycare. That needs to go to the states, and they need to raise their taxes." It's just like this is the same bullshit everybody was already tired of. And then anybody that like talks a good game actually seems like they want to make a change, like Bernie. Look, he's been there his whole freaking life. He's been there for decades. And I'm not saying he hasn't done anything, but like what has he accomplished? That it's just really hard to like put your faith in any politician anymore. It's not the fur that scares me, it's their blob image. It's a joke referring to the original Bigfoot video. Oh, I don't get it. Jamal Zombie Jesus was looking for brains, so he went to a church but couldn't find any. Kentucky bourbon for the win. Yeah, I don't drink bourbon, Tyler, but I've heard that it's good. Are you in or near Louisville or no? Took a midnight tour. Waverly Hill Sanatorium a few years back is why I asked. I was born there. I'm not in there. I'm not in there. I'm not there now. I always wanted to go to Waverly, but the older I got, the more I was glad that I didn't go because I would be scared I'd bring something home. Hi, Dan. How are you? Hi, Clammy. Oh gosh, Clammy. Hide. But yeah, Louisville is great. And if you guys didn't know, Waverly Hills Sanatorium is this big, gigantic hospital they built to house tuberculosis patients. And I'm sorry, was it an insane asylum first? I'm sorry, I should know this. But it ended up being like a tuberculosis sanatorium where they thought that this would be a great place for people to heal. But it's not. Like the low-lying, kind of humid Ohio River Valley right there by the water was probably like the opposite of a good place for healing. And they even tried to put people in caves. They thought that maybe the climate in caves would help them. Can we just remember that Jesus was the first necromancer? This isn't me trying to be sacrilegious. I'm just saying he raised the dead in the story of Lazarus, brother said. I love that movie, Lydia. Oh my God, my parents, oh, LOL. My parents are from Florence, Kentucky. Good time. Oh, Florence. Florence is a neat town. It's right on the river. Donnie said that. It's near Madison, Indiana. No, actually, no, I don't think it's across from Madison, Indiana. Scratch that. No, it's not. But anyways, has a really cute water tower that says Florence, y'all on it, right? It's raw, Gordon Ramsay. Beyonce said. Waverly isn't not creepy for sure, B. Kirkman said. Did you have any experiences? The topic about religion, that's just a word. It should be a lifestyle. Yes, Michelle, I agree. Fendi, you're delusional if you truly believe that the US was helping them. Um, like 50,000 people died there. It was for TB, B. Kirkman said. Okay, they built it for that. Yeah, that it's crazy. And they had a chute, like a tunnel that they would take. They made specifically to walk the bodies out because they didn't want the morale to sink from the patients who are still alive to see people being wheeled out in body bags and stuff. It's so sad. And it is something like, when you hear about, like, communicable diseases like that before they found a cure for it that makes you grateful, but it's also interesting to think about all the diseases that died out kind of like on their own or we found cures for, and sometimes I just think, what if we didn't do that with some of the ones that we put in a vial and injected our kids 70 times? And like, you know what I mean? Like, would the same thing have happened to measles if like we just let it run its natural course? Maybe, maybe not, but I just think it's interesting to think about things like typhoid. And I know there are vaccines for things like malaria and typhoid that we just don't get here, which is also an interesting thing to me. It's really hard to trust politicians. I don't know how you do it, Donnie said. Yeah, I don't. Fendi, I agree, Michelle said. We all came from the, I don't know that word, Daryl Flow. You're so pretty. Your skin is so clear. Oh, thank you, Taylor. Hey, Lucky, what's your favorite place to visit? Oh, I no, I wouldn't ever consider myself full on MAGA, but no, I don't support Trump at all. And I don't think that making America great again is this, he has the same agenda at all. What I would consider making America great again would be making it more affordable, making education more affordable, higher education. Shoot, they would slide people down in boxes. Yeah, B. Kirk. My favorite place to visit, I just like to be in nature, so I'd say anything with, like, a good hiking trail, like, but I don't like heights. I don't like being up high. Thank you, Valor. Oh, let's get positivity now and switch lanes. Hey, cutie, Jersey in here, Rick said. Yeah, if you want to talk about something positive, bring up anything you want. Wings on the same serpent, Gloom said. Nearly perfect if you're conservative, Valor said. Did you vax your kids as infants? Slices Christ. I don't really want to talk about their medical history. Let's just say I learned my lesson early. I reacted to a flu shot I got when it was at the pediatrician's office. This pediatrician told me my infant that was breastfeeding was going to die if I got the flu. And looking back on it, it was so dumb because it was February. It was like the end of flu season. And so I got it. It was the last shot in the vial. And I always stuck with me because it did have mercury in it. And as the nurses don't shake every single dose they take, if they don't shake it properly, that can settle to the bottom of it. And I don't know if that was it or what, but I remember that I was so sick that day. And it was like the same thing being told to me over and over. And I do have a lot to say as far as my kids. I just don't feel comfortable sharing it like on YouTube. But um I I don't think my youngest son's autism is related to vaccines. I do want to say that. Bay Chat, what's your favorite movie genre? Mine's horror and holiday films. It used to be horror when I was younger. Now I just don't. I guess like documentaries. I know that's not really a genre of movies. I don't watch movies. I literally can't. I have a hard time like sitting down to watch like a Disney movie, which we don't do a lot. But Trump steam. LOL. When the perfect circle was created, it missed and blew up, Daryl said. Glory, a forgotten word. None of these leaders have it, Gloom. Yes, I was just thinking about the difference between the men that if they wanted to start a war, be part of a war, they fought in the war, they would go out there and be the leaders and the generals of the armies. And now we've gone to like done a 180 to the man that evaded a draft when he was younger and wants to turn around and basically, put more young people in a war zone. Did you see Trump say that he surrounds himself with losers because it makes him feel better? And like all these people standing around him, I was like, can you imagine being a part of his cabinet or whatever, being there in that room and hearing him say that? Of course, you couldn't help but be like, he must think like everybody's a loser but him. And the way that these people talk about him. That the way he's so eloquent, he remembers everything. Caroline Levitt was like, he's the most well-read person I know. He knows every story all the time. It's just so obvious, in my opinion. They're told, like, talk him up. You need to butter him up. We need to like say, like, praise him. And especially now with the women, it's no surprise to me. I know what's his face, Bongino was out like first, but the firing of Noam and then um Blondie, you know who I'm talking about. It's really interesting. KM, and it's a really good example of why trying to be close to power, like close in proximity to power, can really shoot yourself in the foot. Careful, Val, or you're starting to sound like a serial killer, brother said. It definitely is, LJ said. Hi, Abraham Lincoln. How are you? Dinosaurs are really good at hiding, Anthony said. Valor, do you think I have a Southern accent? Don't worry, Lucky. Documentaries counts. Okay, brother. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I definitely can't spend an hour or longer watching something unless it's like that, you know? Mercury, so that's why everyone went mad during and after COVID. I don't think they had mercury shots in, they didn't have mercury in those shots, Edge. They don't put mercury in a lot of them like they used to. The flu shot is one I think they do every year. Donnie, are movies too long for you or something? Do you get bored? Yeah, I have no attention span. Commander Spoonburst, Anthony said. What's your favorite peninsula, Wes? That's a funny question. I guess Florida. Disfulus dis. Oh my gosh, your name is crazy. Jesus Christ did not want to force people to comply. If they followed him, fine. If they didn't, then they didn't have to follow him. You either choose to be Christian and repent of your sins. Yeah, okay. I'm really into near-death stories. You know, they fired 12 generals so far. Yes, I did hear that, Fendi. I don't know the number 12, but I did hear they were, Hegseth was firing a lot of people that were not going along with everything right. Is that what you heard? I'm in the war between, been in the war and am pro-war. Oh, hold on. I am in the war, been in the war, and am pro-war. Are you a veteran, Valor? You're welcome for our service. Well, thank you for your service. Definitely, Valor. I do say that to veterans, so thank you. I just, with everything going on right now, I don't agree with it, but I also realistically know that somebody has to be in the military. So that's what I mean. Like, I'm always respectful of people that are in the military because somebody has to do it. Brother, Valor, buddy, please cool it. I'm sure she's not uncomfortable, but I am getting bad vibes. Um, yeah, and Pandy, how are you? He's insane, Fendi, LOL said. Crazy ass Trump, Anthony said. Don Banjo, what a clown, LOL. Yeah, Don Bondi, yes, LJ, Bondi. Hi, Eneska, how are you? Jesus was a black man, did you know? Yes, Lupe. He was a short, dark-skinned man, that's for sure. And it's funny when he's depicted as this tall, blonde, white, blue-eyed, I don't know what I was gonna say, white eyes. White skin, pre-apocalypse. Hi, how are you? Jesus was a Palestinian, Anthony said. MAGA hippity hoppity, your memory is now our property, brother said. Um, I don't look like fun logically. Well, there's plenty of other YouTubers if I'm not fun enough. Hey, it's my father's birthday. Could you please say happy birthday? Blaze, Jesus fell so you could live, so don't give up on yourself. Gloom, 1920s Bibles and after removed exorcism teachings from the Christian King James Version, thanks to Sigmund Freud claiming people were having psychological problems, not possessions. Oh, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. Hi, Alan. How are you? Michigan's Upper Peninsula is cool too. I've never been there, but I've always wanted to go. I want to go to Michigan, period. I really want to go to the Indiana Dunes. If you didn't know what that is, it's like up in the northern part of Indiana, like, you know, on, oh my gosh, Lake Michigan? What is it called? Lake Superior? I should know this. I'm gonna shut up. Guys in the army that were 7.2 in a platoon. Dis said. I'm just gonna call you Dis. Jesus was a black man. Oh, I think I already read that. Mike is making stuff. Asked what this channel is about. Well, I'm in Kentucky. I really want to share Kentucky with you guys, and I know I can be all over the place, but I used to have this tagline. We're here to like talk about what you put in and around your body matters because it's a lot to do with like health and nutrition and gardening, but also the psychological stuff, you know, the social and political, because I've always bounced around and I know that's not ideal, but I just can't help it. Thank you, Fly Guy. Lupe, Jesus was not black, Mr. Mintz. Well, he's definitely not as white as most people depict him. He's probably pretty brown. Do you agree with that, Linguino? Don't worry, you're fun. I said. Yeah, not everybody's gonna be nobody's gonna be everybody's cup of tea, you know what I mean? And that's what's so nice about Shimkin said, "Your mom." YouTube, and that's what inspired me to just keep going for it because even if you're considering starting a channel yourself, seriously do it. It's gonna take you years. I shouldn't say that. It might not take you years. Usually it takes a long time to build it up, and you need to start practicing now. And I think that YouTube is kinder to small creators more than they were for several years because they realized like, they have to be, or else there's not gonna be as much as of an influx of content, and Donnie, well, I bet you're just more interested in learning things than watching fake things. That's probably why you're smart. Aw, Donnie, that's so sweet. I don't retain information as good as I used to, but, like, one okay, I really am a pretty decent gardener, and Indiana Dunes is cool. I've been a bunch of times. That's cool. LOL. Good for you. Hi, Robert. How are you? Alanis Flaky. Are you one of those people that think I look like Alanis? Jesus used to meditate on Himalayas. I'm as far south in Indiana as you can go. Oh, yeah, B. Kirk? I was raised in southern Indiana. I'm not gonna say the exact town, but in a small town, like an hour away from Louisville. Jesus was Palestinian. I bet it's tough to guess what my channel is about. Mike is making stuff. Oh, if anybody wants to like, if anybody wants me to sub to their channel, leave me a comment. You know what I mean? Like not in the chat, like a comment on a video or a post. And I want to sub to everybody's channel if you want. I actually forgot how cool the dunes are. I would go with my dad as a kid and a couple times to party in high school. Oh, they look so cool. It's like a beach. That's what it looks like. Jesus was a Jewish carpenter, CMA said. Flaky, LOL, brown Jesus. Everybody around there was darker skinned. Do you think that he was I'm sincerely asking, do you think that he was different because God wanted him to be whiter than everybody else around? Is that what you think? You ever dated a guy with a mullet? I don't think so, Alex. Sean, I'm from Morgantown, West Virginia. Oh, that's cool. Do you still live there? And how is it? Evil man he is, Dis said. No, I don't do the 360 stuff. Jason is 21. Well, enjoy your youth, Jason. But I'm also sorry that everything is the way that it is. My kid made me so sad the other day. My 16-year-old, he's like, too bad as soon as I get old enough to do stuff, the world is like going and I was like, "I'm sorry." Like, "What do you say to that?" I was just like, "I'm sorry." He's like, "It's not your fault." And I was like, "It's kind of in a way, it is my fault that you're here, you know?" And like, really, I just feel for young people. I believe in not overthinking things, Daryl. That's very good. That's what I've been trying to practice a lot of lately is just like radical acceptance, you know? Like you have to accept you know certain things to be true. You can't change them. And my biggest hangups come from me just, "Oh, hey, Mr. Carey, I'm glad you're back." Thank you, Mr. Carey. Jesus is King, Bowman said, "I'm here to troll Buckeye." That's funny you announce it like that. I like your style. I'm in Evansville, but raised in Boonville, a small town not far away. Oh, I know where Evansville is. I've never been there, personally, but was it Latin? What are you asking about, Joshua? Are you talking about the Bible? Comment left. Thank you, Mike is making stuff. I'm excited. West Texas. I love do it yourself. That's what I was gonna like. I learned so much about gardening from YouTube and like my husband, he's built things and he's like a perfectionist. He's too hard on himself. He really does do a good job, but like he wasn't taught carpentry by anybody but YouTubers. And it really is so useful. He's done some stuff like he's installed toilets and stuff like after watching YouTube videos. Yeah, we love it here. Oh, I'm glad, Sean. So that's sweet. Okay, Sean, I've asked every trucker I've met, which has been several. I used to be a waitress. What was the most scenic state? Every single one of them, with the exception of one here on YouTube. And I almost wonder if it was a troll, but I didn't tell him that everybody else said West Virginia. Most 9 out of 10 truckers say West Virginia is the most beautiful, and that's in the contiguous states. If you didn't know what that means, that's all of the states but Alaska and Hawaii. My eyes are green, but they're like, oh my gosh, if you guys saw my mom's eyes, she has like cat I've never seen anybody with eyes that look actually, I have. I went to high school with these twins that had light. Her eyes are like cat eyes. They're so light green. And then my dad's eyes were forest green, like a dark green. I'm from Hagerstown, M said. Man made God to its image, Otavio said. Oh, thank you, Lindy. That's so sweet. You are a beautiful, classy lady. That's so sweet. Jesus is probably white, and I'd imagine her cold get a crazy tan go. I imagine her could. Are you Buckeye? Who could get a tan? I bet Jesus did a lot of things. I mean, gosh, he lived till mid-30s, Donnie said. This. How many men get treated badly in this world? Millions of men get treated like shit, regardless of whether it's justified or not. Okay, Dis, I don't know what you're saying that in response to, but yeah, like I do understand when the sentiment comes about. I'm sorry, I'm behind in chat that like men get shit on, like it is particularly like white men get shit on. I don't think that their lives are harder than anybody else's, but I do understand like with all these things they're trying to do and divide and conquer why it might feel that way. And I remember several years ago, I made videos on this that are private, like how they took away Boy Scouts, or I'm sorry, they, you know what I mean, they made it so girls could join Boy Scouts, and it's like we need to have these spaces that are like for boys, like boys. I don't want to be like let boys be boys, but I that is what I mean. You know what I mean, in a healthy masculine kind of way. And it did seem like this was when feminism started to get a bad rap because it was like the third wave. I don't know, maybe fourth. These like radical feminists that would say stuff like "No more males should be born. They're all horrible oppressors. I'm not gonna birth my oppressor," and stuff like that. That's just like that's so ridiculous. I'm not delusional because I have sense. Like I just couldn't imagine looking at half of the human race like that. Just as like couldn't imagine looking down on women and thinking that women are innately less than men in any way other than like physical strength. And even that isn't 100% of the time. Chris said your kid's a moron. Actually, he's really super smart, Chris. And he's like one of the most stoic people I know in the sense that he really, ever since he was a toddler, he'd like skin his knee, and I could tell he was like not gonna cry about it. Like, I've always checked in on him and told him like you need to be able to talk to somebody, sometimes just getting something off your chest and everything. But anyways, he is such a good, strong person. He's a big athlete. And I still tell him the world is his oyster, kind of. Half y'all argue about so much what Jesus looked like and didn't pay a lick of attention to what the man was trying to tell y'all, Mike said. Okay, hi CB, how are you? I'm good, CB. How are you? Hey, happy Easter. I'm upset that my package didn't come today for Easter. It was my Easter toys and phone case and the strip for my computer that broke. Well, Braden, I hope it comes tomorrow. Actually, Yeshua, Jehovah, Yahweh, Jesus, all names mostly from language speaking and slang, Joshua said. Daryl, black people seen as black and white people see him as white, etc. I don't think the chat's being toxic X S1. Easter Bunny and Santa Claus is real, Sub said. Jesus looked like Arab, obviously. Imprimo said. Imprimaleo. I will be back. Just heard missile siren. Oh, YB, I hope not. Da Vinci painted the first white Jesus, 15th century, Gloom said. Joshua said, yes, ma'am. I'm picking on the comments, dear. How you doing? CB said, I'm good. I'm sorry if you have replied. If you're still in here, great group chat. I like the idea of being on the right track. Lost parts of the things that get lost ever returned the right way. I'm doing good. Happy Easter. Jesus Christ died on the cross for everyone. Robert said. That's nice. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm super bad at overthinking things, especially in social situations. Makes it a bit awkward. Me too, Donnie. The sad thing is it doesn't change for me. I keep hoping like the older I get. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'm on YouTube. I am a lot less of a introvert than I used to be because it feels good to like converse with people and talk with people, right? Like we are social beings. But I used to seriously not talk to anybody, but like the one friend I had, I was so awkward. I've never liked crowds. I went to like 2 house parties when I was in high school, which I always thought made me a loser. You know what I mean? I always like, I wish I'd go to more. I wish I'd get invited to more. And then like looking back on it, I'm like, I'm so glad I only went to 2 house parties. Bro, if you think the Easter Bunny is real, you need rehab. Aim Prima Leo said, hey, happy Easter. Okay, I already read that. Not you, sweetie. Joshua said, I love nature. Joshua said, West Virginia is beautiful, good citizen said. West Virginia didn't do it for me as much as North Carolina, personally. That's interesting, Mike. All those religious illustrations were mainly 15th century. The Last Supper and a couple others, Gloom said. The Jesus everyone is used to seeing in pictures and paintings is a man named Caesar Borgia. That's interesting, Loopy. I didn't bet they change in my presence. Why am I the only one, though? Joshua said. Michelle, you're still in here. Mr. Carey, it's all good. That's why I said something when you said back. Much love and respect. Always nice to see you as well. Taff, only 2% of the world has green eyes. I have them too. The chosen few. The chosen few, Taff.
I don't know how true this is, but I read somewhere one time that Hitler said, it like, everybody says like blonde hair, blue eyes, but he actually said like green eyes were, and I'm not saying that I think they're superior, but I do think it's interesting, like the rarest, or actually I think the rarest eye color is violet, like Elizabeth Taylor. That's like a genetic defect. Joshua, tell them girls are tougher than girls anyway, as far as the majority, Joshua said. Jesus died so you could live sports, said Cricket's mama, most of them just listening. Joshua B. Kirk, the separation between male and females for the reason I have always taken place even when we were cavemen. It's more natural than not. Yes, I think that there's a lot to be said about like societally manufactured gender roles though. And it's interesting you bring up cavemen because a lot of the things people try to like pigeonhole women into is like for most of human history, I believe most of the time that we've been here and evolved to be who we are now, we all just worked really hard together. And don't laugh at this. Somebody always puts the laughing faces, and now somebody's going to do it just because I said that. There is more and more evidence that it was actually the older women who were the best hunters in these older tribes. Isn't that amazing? It was like grandma was the best hunter, and we are one of three mammals on the planet that evolved to have a menopause, meaning we are not fertile in the last quarter of our lives as the females. We're one of three mammals, and the other are like super freaking smart. It's like a kind of dolphin or whale and an elephant. Like some of the smartest mammals on the planet. It just makes sense. And that makes even more sense that it's the grandmas were out there hunting for everybody. That nature was like, you know what? You're going to live long enough to do this for a while. You're not going to die when your fertility does, basically. I think that that's super interesting. And so to get into agricultural societies where people were living in like, settled civilizations, and then they're like, it's just human nature. There's going to be some kind of hierarchy, and it was like, how can we, okay, automatically oppress half the population? Um, and I'm sure something about pregnancy plays into that. Women are just more vulnerable more often. I don't know, Devin Andrews. I don't know. Moonshiner, apparently women are more sensitive to the cold, and that's an evolutionary trait. Oh, hi, Tornado Garden. How are you? Do you have a channel? CB, I like to garden the most. I want to get into stained glass making. I'm horrible. I have all the stuff for it except for the soldering iron, which I will get because it's very cheap. You can get one at like Harbor Freight for like 10 or $20. I need a soldering tool that has a temperature on it. I have one, but it's just like on off. Anyways, I like to do art. I used to be into like resin art for a while, and I know that's like great for the environment, and it made me feel bad. Moonshiner, how are you doing? Joshua, but as far as the man goes, my entire collective performance in honor for Gia to match the death energy on Earth. I love her so dreamy Mother Christ is. Joshua, you are funny. Hi, Dragon. How are you? LGJ, who said that I got sober? We talk about all sorts of stuff. Daryl, yeah, you'd be surprised. I read to my son and a good like hour a day most days, and then I'll like record or get on live for a few hours. I think I'm used to it. Hi, Mac. Happy Easter. How are you? He is risen. He said. My mom said you look like a hippie. That's so funny, Mercado. That's the second hippie comment today. Is it the long hair? Hi, boys, Violet said. The chosen is my wife, Joshua said. Blue eyes have more migraines. Oh, that's interesting, Gloom. When I took my dog to one of the vets, he has like light blue eyes. They used to be bluer when he was a puppy. He was like, you know what that means? Like his coat, he's like a blue fawn, and his eyes. This was a vet that I really didn't like. That was making fun of me for moving back to Kentucky. He's like, "It's a genetic mistake. It's a defect." He's like, "You know what those blue eyes mean?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "That's a genetic mistake." I'm like, "Okay." And you know what? I'm not kidding. That man sitting there with blue fucking eyes. But I know that doesn't mean he thinks that about every living being. But I guess it's something about like a dog to have a. He's not. I looked that up. I didn't really see anything confirming that. It's not like having an all white dog. Like albino dogs do tend to have like, but that doesn't mean they're mistakes. I'm native. Christ is white, Joshua said. Um, okay. Never was too big on house parties unless they had beer and a fire pit, I just said. Oh, that's how they all are around here and in Indiana. What else is there to do? Blue eyes are more light sensitive. Yeah, my eyes are like that. Like I'm not as much as my mom who has lighter eyes. Like when you go out in the sun, you sneeze. Sometimes just bright lights make me sneeze. If you think an old woman was a top hunter, you definitely have mercury poisoning slices. You can look it up. Slices. Seriously. And it's that assumption that women weren't as good or the best, that like there was many until recently. They assumed a lot of skeletons they found that were obviously like the hunter or a prolific hunter because they were buried with all these like spears and stuff representative of them hunting their whole lives. They just would open a tomb like that or grave or whatever and be like, it's a man. They would just assume that. And then they started to realize, which I thought they could tell pretty much by the pelvis. Like you can tell by the opening of the pelvis, not this part, but it makes sense, like where the baby would come out, that women have a wider opening. But I don't know, maybe with such older skeletons, I have no idea. But that was funny slices. I do remember you telling us that. Probably elephants. Yes, and dolphins. Moonshiner said, if the women are the best hunters, then what were the men doing? Andrea, not saying that they weren't hunting. I'm just saying that when everybody had to literally like live the same exact lives, you know what I mean? When we were all hunter-gatherers, women did their fair share, if anything, a little bit more. And it just kind of makes sense to me. Um, you have a certain drive when you are the person that grows the babies. You know what I mean? But that's not to say at all that there weren't men that were just as good. Now y'all lived in caves and didn't wash or nothing until Moore's taught y'all, Fendi said. Joshua Christ died for his sins, but more to it just than that. Death from the dark ages to the rave the horse, so the energy never goes away. It always exists. So what we gonna do about that? Joshua, you are funny. Certainly not allow Earth to blow up or reset, Joshua said. Okay, I think I'm gonna try to quiet down on Joshua's comments. No offense, Joshua. Don't forget, Shield Madden's Vikings tab said. Truckers hate Trump, Dis said. There's a song that elder women make beautiful lovers, so maybe the hunting is true. B. Kirk. Say West Virginia is a pretty state. I will admit that it is very geographically is a fascinating state, very beautiful. I personally would never want to live there, though, Dis said. Yeah, and I made a shorts about like some Kentucky real estate listings. And I know some people probably laugh at me being like, oh, there's not a lot of jobs and the schools aren't that good. But if your life doesn't revolve around, you know what I mean? If you're lucky enough to have like a chunk of money, you can put half or more down in a house that's like 100 or 200,000 and have a very cheap mortgage. And then you don't necessarily have to make $25 an hour, but there's a lot of people that work from home, especially since the pandemic, and there's a much better selection for the internet. It used to be a lot harder to get the internet in rural areas, but I just wanted like there was a house $200,000 for a brand new construction house. Yes, it's in Greensburg, Kentucky. Yes, that's a very small town, but, gosh, it's just amazing. You can't find a and I still think that that's sad that a starter home is, starting at $200,000. Last property we bought, we couldn't buy a $200,000 property, you know what I mean? Older women are beautiful lovers. I said older women, they understand, Mr. Carey said. Hi, Alton, how are you? Mosaic or staining the glass itself. Well, I just use colored glass, like it's like stained glass. You know what I mean? Where not exactly traditional with the lead that they would use for like stained glass windows, but you cut out all your glass pieces and you like grind the edges and then you put this copper tape on them and then you solder them together. There's some people that make beautiful stained glass here on YouTube. Oh, I wish I could remember her name. There's this one woman that really inspired me to do it. I just love crafts, and for years I did stuff just like with the kids and sewing. I like to sew and I want to get into sewing again. Like I want to be able to make more clothes. And I have this baby wrap. It's like one of those long, it's literally, I'm not kidding, like 20 feet long. And it was organic cotton. And I'm like, I need to make something with this. I'd rather drive semi in California, just said. Oh, that would be kind of hard. Hi, Elena. How are you? Steady. Hello. I'm having an Easter beer. It's like a regular beer, but I have this. Jesus is brown. He's not white. Alton. Hi. Should I make a cross into a motorbike or mini car for my church? Oh, mini car. And I stole water from Lowe's, Joshua. The bucket was paid for. The guy was watering flowers, so I said I had thirsty Palestinian cubs. Moonshiner Sheesh will sign me up for a blue-eyed blonde to ruin my life. LOL. Primark? Taking easily one biggest. Oh, good for you. I prefer my comments not read. Yeshua of Nazareth had indeed fiery eyes, hazel and brown skin, light tan skin, Sam said. Light skin tan, he said. What? I have blue eyes and I don't think I'm more sensitive to light. Oh, good for you, Steady. A lot of people with lighter eyes. Thank you for the floating heart, monster baiter. A lot of people with lighter eyes are sensitive to lights. Did you ever seen Carissa Gone Bad? Oh, I'm still reading Joshua's crazy comments. Hi, Robert. How are you? The women were watching Housewives of Caveman County, B. Kirk said. You are funny. Recently, Lovely T, she's one of my favorite YouTubers. She did a breakdown of like Real Housewives. If you're interested in that show at all, her breakdowns have been on point lately. And she just kind of themes or has the same theme that basically she's like about my some late 30s early 40s millennials and like everybody since and even a little bit before but like the way we were brainwashed. Yes, I'm in Central Kentucky, Lupe. Is sound cutting out for anyone else? Is sound cutting out for anyone else? Most guys in West Virginia start out in the coal mines, Diz said. Bella is in the hospital. I'm sorry to hear that, Bella. I hope that you get out of the hospital soon. Hi, Mansoor. How are you? Thanks, Bill. The tapestry, I got that on Amazon. It was like $9. The house prices are a bit crazy. Yes, they are, Michelle. And I hate to say, I don't think they're going to go down. Like I was hopeful that maybe they would. I think they kind of like stopped going up so much, but they're not gonna go down from that, and that is unfortunate for people. Like I said, we couldn't afford I get excited about things. I'm like, yeah, our budget was like 130, like always. I respect the coal mining industry, but I would never want to work in that industry unless it was a surface mine. It's not worth the health hazards. Yes, Dis. Yes, I agree. It is crazy what some people, so many people went through. And if you're not aware of the coal mining history, these coal mines, yes, they brought a lot of prosperity seemingly to a lot of small towns. They did, but a lot of these towns, the coal mine would like pay the coal miners and this kind of pay that like basically like their room and board was paid for or whatever came out of their pay. But then they could only use like the pay at the general store that the coal mine owned. It was really shady shit. It's just kinda like similar of like, gosh, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. The farmers, indentured what is the word I'm looking for where they were, like, given a little bit of land and told you, "Oh, this will be your land when you're out of debt," but they're never really reached that point. And, yeah, I'm from Manchester, Ken said. "Oh, that's so cool, Ken. How are you? I like the spray paint Cosmo YouTube artist." I don't think I follow that. I love all sorts of artists. I follow tons of different artists here. Been here, done that. No thanks. Recognize the surface construction labor, and as a truck driver is way better occupation. Good for you, Dis. At least half the people I know from Kentucky can read. Of course, I'm joking. It's like 30%. B. Kirk, ladies, man, it is not I who has defeated you. You have fallen victim to your own sins. I do not know Stray Kids, Lee. California is beautiful, so is Utah. Yes, Dis. I lived in California as a child for like less than a year. Those are nice places to drive a semi. Oh, yeah. Do you ever get bored when you're on a straight stretch of road that just goes on and on forever with no hills or something? I'm sorry. It's like the Kentuckian in me. I can't stand, I know there's beauty to everything, but like I don't like flat states. Like Florida is like too flat for my taste. You know what I No, I don't know that I've had a stroke for sure, not the Captain Rex. When I asked a doctor about that, they told me that I was being vain because that's how women get spoken to when they say, "Hey, my eye didn't used to look like this," and I'm concerned. Isn't that a sign that maybe at some point, oh, don't be vain? That you get talked to like you're a. I had an ENT ask me, "Do you have any psychological problems?" And the next question, what does your husband think of your issues? And I still have the same issues that I went to the ENT for. They just don't give a shit. Just stop being sad. You must make at least six figures or be a millionaire. Otherwise, you're going to have to have five roommates in California just to rent a shitty ass freaking studio in San Diego, for example. Yeah, Dis, that's one reason I just want to, I'm not trying to like promote Kentucky, just think that there's a lot of people overlook this state. And I know there are a lot of people who consider Kentucky and buy land here. but you need to be really careful if you do that sight unseen. You could be surprised. Some of these listings, we encountered it ourselves. You think it's like something like they even say like there's, places to build on it or whatever, and then you go and it's like mostly a hill. And if you want to garden or farm, you like it is a toss up. There's tons of fertile farmland around here, but there is also a lot of, mountainous, like rocky areas where you're just going to be tailing rocks. Knowledge handlers, no sound cut, Glamour Doom said. Thank you. With all due respect, ma'am, I would knock the dust off that box respectfully. Oh, thank you, gang. Um, America question mark? Matthew, why are you saying that? How are you? Hey man, Jesus loves you. May God bless you and your loved ones. That's so nice, Walter. You too. We need more women who are becoming self-sufficient and learn crafts that are fast becoming lost in today's world. Yes, Fuzz. I think that it is something a lot of people are already leaning to, I see people say analog hobbies. I think that's funny. Like, we need things to work our brains, and I do believe that we were made to like work hard in the sun, except for disabled people. And I really am sorry if you're like in that boat. But that's what we were put here to do. My eyes are dark as fuck and I'm still sensitive to light. I also have astigmatism that might have something to do with it. Yeah, I think it does, Edge. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. I I don't know. I guess I mean, of course it's possible, but and yeah, what you said about making six figures I touch upon that a lot. The like sharecroppers. Thank you, Moonshiner. That's what I was thinking about. Sharecroppers. Thank you. Uh, um Six figures, like high figure man, what makes a high figure or a high value man, I'm sorry, high value man, and I'm not saying it was me, but a few years ago, I was trying to, like, do TikTok, and I made so many TikToks. I was like a dog with a bone. I did stay on track better on TikTok in, like, 1, 2 subjects, and I was like, "This is absolutely ridiculous." You're, like, trying to be some kind of mentor for young men and you're telling them that they're not ever going to be worth anything until they're making six figures, and then a lot of people would add like you have to be 6 foot two, or even 6 foot two to like this is why men are getting limb lengthening surgeries. It's so horrible and sad to think about because they're like so obsessed with being just a few inches taller because of shit like that, in my opinion. I know a lot of it has to do with like being like bullied in person too, which I think is horrible. But I just really, as a mother of three sons and somebody who's married to somebody who hasn't made six figures, I think that that is so ridiculous to promote that. And now in this economy, when we need each other more than ever to be like, this happens a lot with women too. It's not just a manosphere red pill. It happens a lot. Women telling other women, giving women advice like, I understand, don't get with somebody with no ambition, no work ethic, who's like $500,000 in debt. Of course, you don't want to get with somebody because you love him who spends all his money at the casino, has a gambling problem, like, intentionally like stay with somebody like that. I get that. But they're like telling women, only get with a man who can pay your bills, basically. I think that's extremely detrimental and it's not genuine. Indentured servant, Wayne said. Yes, indentured servant Fender said so too. That is they're both the same, both indentured servants and sharecroppers, and it happens to this day. There's people that think they're going to, like, Dubai or some country to work at a hotel or something, and then they get their passport taken and they can't leave. It's horrible. "Thank you, Jonah," said, "Jesus loves you." I use that word about at least once a week on payday, Moonshiner said. It also sucks that some places you can't buy land and have a motorhome parked on it. Well, in most places, I have seen too many laws. Michelle, Kentucky is so different. Most land is unrestricted, and that is something I asked people at title companies, and they just sat there and like, when somebody puts a restriction on a property, why can't you just take it off when you buy it? Why does somebody selling a property putting a restriction on it? Like, there was some that I saw that were like, you can only have 10 chickens. Like, that is ridiculous. Or you can't make money involving chickens on this land. Like they must like know somebody nearby or something that has it. I don't know. But I don't understand why that is like sets precedent for the whole time you have that property and like I'm sure you could go to court and change the restrictions on your own property. Like how does that work? But anyways, tons of land unrestricted. They don't care about like building permits and stuff. Of course, you have to have your inspections and everything if you want if you want to be on the grid and have electricity and running water. But like you can't get a septic tank if you don't have electric, like good electric approved and permitted and everything. And the EPA does have federal regulations, like technically, But, there's plenty of people that don't have everything the EPA says they have to have. It's Kentucky. That's also another reason why there's such an E. coli and some bad bacteria in certain rivers. It's sad because so many people don't have running water, proper septic, and they run everything to the creek behind their house. It is unfortunate. That comes with the territory of having more liberty to do what you want. St. Peter, don't you call me because I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Edge of South said, "Oh, I haven't heard that song, whatever that song is." But yes, tons, Michelle, tons of people. We have neighbors that the whole time we've lived here for like 3 years almost, there's just RVs on their lot. They clearly live in RVs. You know, there's like one lot where there's like two, and anyways, I didn't want to do that personally with 3 kids, but now that we're a little bit older and one of the kids is out of the house, I would totally live in an RV if it meant going debt free. Al-Azahar thinks I need a psych ward. That road is I-70 West Kansas or drive through Pennsylvania, Gloom said. I don't know the Keister Bunny, Wayne. Kentucky Pride, nothing wrong with that. Not every place has it, Gleam said. Mr. Money, I've always loved states that I think are of having mountains and pine trees, Minnesota, Alaska, Montana. My husband's from Alaska, Mr. Money. There are mountains in California and Utah. Yes, I remember the first time I saw mountains in California, I thought they were fake. We were at some airport, what was it, San Diego? It wasn't LA, I think it was San Diego. And I was like, those mountains are fake. That's a movie set, right? And my parents were laughing. I'm like, that don't look real. The first time you see mountains like that, they look so fake. New York is cool, particularly upstate. I've always wanted to go to upstate New York, BJ. A lot of places are doing that sight unseen in Conroe, Texas. They're getting flooded every rainstorm. Oh, that sucks, Jacob. There's a lot of floodplains around here too. Steady, me and my wife have been together since we were 18 and we are 39. I've been married 14 years of that. I'm so happy with my wife. That's so nice, Steady. That sounds a lot like us. When we met, I was 18, he was 21, and we've been married 16 years. And I'm 39 and he's 40. Listen to me. Yeah. Shout out to all the he's 41. Shout out to all the haters and trolls out there. Please send all donations to Nicholas. If Christ can do the impossible as the firstborn, can he forgive unforgivable sins if they're in the name of fate? Moonshiner said. Steady, congratulations, Mr. Carey said. Good job, Mr. Carey. I'm trying to get caught up. There is no God but Allah, according to BJ. Steady, that is awesome. Congratulations, Michelle said. The Artemis mission is costing the taxpayers $90 billion to justify that field trip. Yeah, Mike G, there's no justifying it, in my opinion. I don't even really believe it. It was like Elon's it was so fake looking, and I know I'm not an expert, and then there's like, people bring up, "Where's all the debris?" There's a lot of, like, debris in space, but I guess they have all these, like, explanations for Jacob is 5'7", 550. Thank you, Michelle, Steady said. Steady, you're welcome, Michelle said. No, we don't need each other. Or actually, what do you mean, Lydia? Oh, Fendi, just people that want to have a partner that like now that life is harder than ever, like financially, that shouldn't be a reason why you stay with somebody. But it's a big plus if you do want to have a partner. You know what I mean? Like we need each other more than ever with everything going on too, not even just finances, like the end of times. Thank you, Mothi. I live in Alaska, own 38 acres, small farm. Best way to go, in my opinion. Yes, Steady. That's awesome. Good for you. Thanks, Melissa. How are you? Moonshine, I always like to remind people to hit that fart button. We should have 80 farts already, Gloom said. Yeah, inside fighters gut punching are annoying, Moonshiner said. Um, what do you think about wind? Do you mean like wind energy? I don't think it's very reliable, but I don't know what you're talking about. I'm from Kentucky, Hassan. Um, Oh, thank you, Clovis. Everybody's being so nice. Hello from Colombia. Oh, John, my grandma's from Colombia. How are you doing? I can't help it. I know I speak kind of fast. I understand that's not for everybody. You damn sure got a southern accent, but it's not very strong. Congrats on 16 years. Make it 50 plus, Gloom said. I don't know if I'll be alive then. Sometimes I eat moldy cheese, Simeon said. Oh, that's cool. Starboy, how are you? Sending love from Okefenokee Swamp, Georgia. I'm so proud of myself. Is that how you say it? Thanks, Brendan. How are you? No, I'm struggling with Brendan. Way Truth Life, Starboy said. Sour milk is actually pretty tasty, Simeon said. Yes, that's good for you. I keep in physical shape and I'm not fat. Good for you, Dis. Me and my wife together 27 years and married 21 years next month, B. Kirk said. Awesome. Greetings from Brazil. Oh, thank you. Oh, I don't know how to say your name. Um, Well, I don't know how to say your name. I'm going to call you Paulo. Thank you. Dr. Pepper destroys sour milk. Starboy said, Simeon, I can't find a partner. I'm sorry to hear that. I know it's tougher than ever in the dating market right now. It seems like, but I don't know. I haven't lived in all eras. It's funny because it's like easier in a lot of ways. It's easier to connect with people, but it's still, but I think there's a lot of stuff. And I talk about that in my Isabel Brown video. There's a lot of reasons why there's less babies being born. And I don't think it's like any one thing or anybody's fault. Hey from Texas, Billy said. How are you? Typhus, I worked in a Texas prison for several years. It's all about heart, but I was undefeated due to my split personality. Uncle Ray Ray, and I've seen the 5 foot guy off his meds need 7 people to cuff. Jacob, are you saying your personality is Uncle Ray Ray? Like, Nicki Minaj's, oh my gosh, what is her alter ego? Roman. Hi, Loy. How are you? Hi, Captain. How are you? How is 50 treating you? J.A. said. Who are you talking to, J.A.? I gave up on relationships for a long time. I probably will look this good when I'm 50, though. Like, let's be real. If I look this good already at almost 40, I gave up on relationships for a long time. Then feeling happened, and it hasn't been a good experience. So maybe being doomed to be single is my fate. Well, Michelle said that. Well, I ought to hit the hay. Take care, y'all. You too, Moonshiner. Love you. I hope you sleep well. Good night. And Gloom said good night to Moonshiner. A lot of people seem to be having that experience, Michelle. It's so, if if you want a partner, it's like I really hope that for everybody, but I also like understand if I was single, like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine. I keep seeing more older people. You really need to check in with the older people in your life and make sure they're not, but I know you can't necessarily do anything about it sometimes. This lady gave $475,000 to a romance scammer, and she had a disabled son, and her disabled son had nowhere to go. That she had sold their house, she had to leave it. Oh, those stories like mad. I know I sound really judgmental, but they piss me off sometimes. Like those people, you work your whole life, or your husband worked his whole life too, or just him, and you're sitting there on hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it was one of those, like he told her he was an actor, asking her for money. No, I'm 39, worm. They're just being a troll. Clearly, Steady said bye to Moonshiner. I just checked my status, and yep, I'm still single. Hello, ladies, Gloom said. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of big guys that can beat the fuck out of smaller guys, yes, but just because the guy's tall and doesn't and big mean doesn't fuck strong or he's fucking strong, a lot of these guys think. What I said. Yes, you're true. Muscle density plays so much more into strength than people realize, and I'm a woman that's, like, high on testosterone, I have PCOS, and I think that's one reason why every single job I've ever had, people are, like, surprised by how strong I am. Like, I know I don't look like I have, like, big muscles. I do carry more weight on my lower body, but, like, most women are stronger in their legs, but I'm, like, stronger with my upper body, but that's also how I got myself all these hernias, is, like, I think we're missing that baby making music from the 70s and 80s. I think you're onto something, Steve. Definitely, like everything. It's so sad. And this gets brought up a lot. Like our parents said the 70s were great. The 80s were great. I was born in the 80s. I just don't remember them. And then we're telling our kids how great the 90s were. Like we don't even have to tell them that. Like our kids already know. They're like, wow, like things, it must have been nice to like grow up. It's so sad. I think it's part of that like morphic resonance collective consciousness that even though our kids didn't know of it, they still can sense things are different, radically different, like things are supposed to get different, right? Enegwe, how are you? Hi, Jesus is Lord, Toko said. Lots guys think just because they're big and tall, they can beat everyone's ass. That ain't true. I've seen them get their fucking asses kicked. Yeah, Diz, I know what you mean. Moonshiner, good night, Michelle said. Not hating on the tall guys either. I'm just saying a lot of tall guys think they're fucking tough because they're tall. Well, I got news for you guys. You're not. I'm 5'11", so I'm average height, Dis said. Jacob, yeah, I'm 6'7", 550, and a black belt in 3 different forms. Cool. I am a black belt in tough guy, Gloom said. You're 550 pounds, Dis said. Thank you, Fendi. Hi, Dylan. How are you? Well, I still need to finish my yep, I was just gonna say I should probably go. I have a low battery. I do have a lot of content coming out. Like, I know it's not gonna be for everybody, all of my content, but I promise I'm getting back on track. Oh my gosh, this charger worked. I didn't think this charger was gonna work. It's like my charging port is. The hardest years were 60s and 70s. Were you alive during then, Daryl? Let's see. Anything to close on? Okay, so yeah, my video that I'm uploading tonight, a lot of people, probably most people watching this right now, aren't gonna like care too much about the Titus Morris. But Beyond Category, who came in here earlier to say hi and then say nothing, which is fine. Like, don't ever feel like you have to stick around. But he's part of that circle. And if you're still in here Beyond Category, I do say in my video that like I don't want to investigate this. I don't want my channel to revolve around Titus and the newest things happening. But like I just and if you think I'm not a good investigative journalist on that subject, that's fine because I never wanted to make a channel literally about Titus Morris. And I do think that maybe I could be wrong. I just think would the outcomes have been different if you weren't cackling at him holding the chainsaw up to you? I know, you guys. This guy that wants to act like he's Amish was going after another man in his car on the road with the chainsaw on running with the chainsaw on. Okay, this man that raised hundreds of thousands of dollars to build a church after being featured on Peter Antonello's channel, yada yada. And it's just another example of like I don't know if these people are like sitting around waiting. Like I'm if you see that and you're disappointed, I'm not making a lot of Titus Morris content. Okay, they have a baby right now and they're vegan and the baby is colicky and gassy and like it's a subject. I don't watch every video, but every video I watch, this is a subject because they feature their kid because they're those kind of people that feature kids on their channel for their content. And I don't think that's right either. But anyways, it would be like if somebody is a hater and watching them, tell them about L. reuteri probiotic. It helped my son so much when he was colicky and gassy. L. reuteri is approved for newborn babies. Not every strain is. And there's something missing. There's something that needs to be done. There's a diet change that needs to be made. I really do feel for that kid. You can tell like they're not happy. And they don't have to work jobs. Like I know that they work the land, but these are that's just one thing I wanted to say. There's a channel I bring up a lot, Vegan Deterioration. She documents the deterioration that happens from a vegan diet. And if you yourself are vegan, I don't know how long you've been vegan. I've seen some vegans that seem to be of a really healthy weight. That one forager lady, she's a vegan and she's not too skinny, but I don't know how long she's been vegan for. But if you don't know what you're doing, it's really easy to become emaciated. And that's what's going on with Titus Morrison. Vegan Deterioration got demonetized on YouTube because YouTube thought she was glorifying eating disorders by showing what happens when somebody has a vegan diet for years of their life. And YouTube like slapped her on the wrist. You're demonetized after years because you're glorifying EDs because she'll like show these people's bodies. And that's another thing that's um, I think it should be illegal to feed a developing child a vegan diet. And I know the lines are gray and blurry when it comes to nursing and what a mother's diet could or should be when nursing. You know, I hate to live in a world where people make a nursing mom eat a certain diet, but you just can't take the building blocks of foundational nutrition. There's certain things you can't get anywhere else but animal products, meat and dairy, and there's a reason for that, you know? And one last thing, they burp their baby on camera, and their lapel mic is, like, right there, and they're, like, burping their baby, and they're like every single video, people are like, "Oh my gosh, you're burping." And I know it's, like, right by the microphone. I don't think they're necessarily burping too hard, but it's like they know people are like, "Okay, we can hear that." And they had so many videos for so long that was like, "Where is your microphone?" And now they always wear the microphone when they're burping the baby. And, like, I feel so bad for that baby. Okay, so what I found out was Titus did have that 12-year-old boy touch him. And yeah, that is worse somehow. Instead of just being there with him, that boy was groomed to touch him. I don't know why nothing happened with Titus Morris. And I'm not saying I'm like the perfect messenger for all of this. I just can't sleep at night. Having a platform where a fellow Kentuckian is on there trying to get people to meet him, go to his church, and has done that. But I hope everybody had a great Easter. Jacob, I catch rattlesnakes for pancreatic and breast cancer research and Spitfire for fun. Copperheads for New York City breast cancer research and black-tailed rattlesnakes for pancreatic research. That's so cool. My aunt was vegan for 20 years. Doc said she had to start eating beef. Gloom said, "Oh, really? I hope everyone has a wonderful night or day. Much love and respect." Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for staying. It is always a pleasure to see you here. See you next time, Michelle said to Mr. Carey. Michelle, you also, Mr. Carey said, Jesus said vegans not as faithful. Jesus ate meat at Passover and before. Yeah, it's really interesting. Oh, Michael, how are you doing? It's really interesting, like the way people take, and I know that the Bible touches a lot upon diet. But yeah, I know it never says not to eat meat, right? And like Seventh Day Adventists, they eat very sparingly. I think at least that, like, don't deprive your child of animal products. At least give them some, give them a steak and some cheese and some eggs sometimes. That's the middle ground I could, but still, oh my gosh. Vegan deterioration was talking about like these moms with children, they're trying to make vegan, like they'll complain about how their child like had meat at school and now they can't stop talking about meat. It's like it's not funny, it really isn't. But it is I think, yeah, it's sad. The Easter Bunny gave me pink eye, Steve said. That's too bad, but I found out chokeberries are a Navajo cancer cure, so I'm making chokeberry jam pudding. That's so cool, Jacob. We were designed to eat meat, otherwise we wouldn't have canine teeth. Plus, all meat has the 9 essential amino acids required for life, and only a few plants is hard to get from plants. Yes, B. Kirkman, you know the only plant that has all 9 amino acids, like that I know of, the moringa tree. It's a complete protein, moringa. It tastes crappy. The leaves are so bitter. But I guess the seed pods are good, and I want to grow it so I can thank you, Dancy. So I can see what the seed pods taste like because the powdered leaves suck. Michael says, doing great, thanks. Good. I'm uploading a lot of videos in the next few days, Michael. I'm trying to get back on track with my YouTube content. Jesus loves you, and I hope you know he died for your sins and came back to life. Oh, combo, thank you. That's so nice. This, if that's true, I have some snake cages that I can sell you. Steve, hairless cats. The Bible actually has a broad recipe for manna. It has all 5 acids. It has beans in it. Really? Jesus died for you and loves you. Happy Resurrection Sunday, Ray Ray said. That's funny. Earlier, somebody said their alter ego was Ray Ray. Uncle Ray Ray. Speak said, hey, hi, how are you? Didn't know that. Good tip, Jay said. Rolling a joint of slush rush, Stone Papa Smurf. Oh my gosh. I was watching the shorts where this doctor was talking about how bad receipts are for you, the BPA specifically in the receipt ink. And oh my gosh, my heart sank when I saw this thread of people talking about using your receipts to roll joints. I was like, that's so horrible. But like, I know, like, your body has its own detox mechanisms, but like, the biggest pinch I ever got in, I used like that last page in a Bible. You know what I'm talking about, where there's like a blank page in Bibles, and I always felt really bad about that. Hi, Barry. How are you doing? Luke 17:2. So is supposed to, but I don't know. B. Kirkman said. I can't remember if it was High Impact Vlogs. I think it was because this guy has a few channels, but he had a great video where he clearly knows a lot of scripture. He does not consider himself Christian, but he does a great job adding scripture where it's appropriate. But yeah, it was really nice. And I wrote it down, but I don't have it in front of me right now. But it had a lot to do with a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm growing tons of moringa in 30-gallon pots. I got 15 feet last year in Houston. Good for you, Jacob. I keep trying every year. I never have grown moringa taller than like a foot. I don't like hairless cats, Jocko said. Oh. I kind of wish I had diesel pit car. Just use an apple. Fendi, yes. I haven't used an apple as a bong before. We used to use cans, like, that was probably horrible. Glam, you want rice paper. Older Bibles use rice paper to create a lighter book. Oh, that's okay, so that's kinda makes sense. Okay. I will answer this last question because I know I said I was gonna go. Go Rogo, you've been in here a while. Thoughts on Iran? I don't agree with us being involved in a war there. That's my thoughts on it. I think that we are kept ignorant about Iran. If you didn't hear the leader, whoever they say their leader is, wrote a letter to the American people 2 days ago, I believe. It was on Sheila Noor's channel. She read it in its entirety. I kind of wanted to do it on my channel. I've just been like a slug. I mean, I've been preoccupied with other stuff. It was a beautiful letter, which basically, to sum it up, is like, Iran is a part of one of the longest known, like, going civilizations on Earth. And like, we see through Israel and the US. and their motives, and, like, we hope, the American people do too, and you do what you can to live your best life, like, yeah. Just and I know there's propaganda coming from all sides, but I don't think that we should be over there, and it really sucks to have our president, who seems to be physically unwell, if you didn't see Alex Jones crying. Oh, yeah, I need to write a few of you back, and I will write you back. "Hi, Pyramid, how are you doing?" DSN, I did breastfeed 2 kids. Well, I one kid, I had to stop after 4 months because of that flu shot. "I'm good, it's been a while, how you been? YouTube won't let me post the actual scripture," Barry said. "Really? Really, Barry? Was it in my chat, or did you have that experience in other things too, the scripture? 20 amino acids, but 9 are absolutely necessary. Our body naturally make the others." Oh, I didn't know that, B. Kirk. Why? Ray bar oil prices need oil, Go Rogo said. We talked about this at the beginning of the chat. It's all done on purpose. Yeah, our oil chain prices never really had to change. They all do it on purpose, and then they're gonna have the excuse. Trump says it'll go down immediately as soon as the war ends. That's not true. That's not gonna be how that works. From what I've heard, you go through reserves and then they have to replenish the reserves. They're not gonna just like I'll sell you some Rocky Mountain green rattlesnakes, Dixon. Happy Easter. God bless you. Jesus loves you all. The Lord is my shepherd. Oh, it's so nice. Thank you, Gloom. We can end the war if you give the rich guy everything he wants. Right, Gloom? And the way he's just like, yes, Fendi, I'm gonna write you back. I was thinking about you. Um, the way he straight up says, we're gonna unleash hell. I'm sure you guys saw that most of you, the last tweet I saw, which I'm sure he's written like 20 cents, but Truth Social, whatever. He was like, "We're gonna attack like the bridges and well, like you order the Strait of Hormuz, you fucking, And then he says something about Allah, like being a smartass. Obviously, he is horrible. He is so fucking horrible. Now, I don't see how Kamala could be any worse, but at the same time, I don't think that things would be significantly better either because it's all the uh, same puppet masters. It's all the same man behind the curtain, you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Um, YouTube deletes AI deletes and censors, DH said. Thoughts on White saying, what do you mean, YN? What does that mean? White saying, I don't know what that means, Go Rogo. What does YN mean? I'm out of here. I appreciate you putting up with me and sleep well. Oh, B. Kirk, it was nice having you. I hope you sleep well. Good night. Weed contains much more tar than cigarettes. Yeah, Michael. I believe that because when you smoke it, especially like, a joint or whatever, you see the resin, right? That's one reason why, like, I was kind of tired of having a smoker's cough because I used to smoke. Joe wears, I'm going to trust your opinion because you look like you have your life together, LOL. Well, we're all just here to share with each other. I hope nobody thinks that I'm that kind of YouTuber. I do think that, like, when I talk about like going debt free and having a garden and stuff like that, like, I hope to be of inspiration, but not at all in the like, I do this, therefore I think you could. Even though I do kind of want people to feel compelled to you kind of think if you want this kind of lifestyle, you need acres and acres. Actually, 1 acre is a lot more land than you realize it is. Some of you probably know what it actually is, but it really is more than most families would need, unless you want large livestock. Are they going to send them to hell? Fendi said. Enough politics, just kiss me. I'm married, GP. And many chats actually kind of strange, right? Well, the chosen ones own YouTube. So, yeah, Barry, exactly. So, I'm uploading a video tomorrow about it's like in response to a conservative commentator, Isabel Brown. She talks about propaganda a lot, and it's like 14, 15 minutes long. I talk about the Noahide laws which in 1990, George Bush Sr. signed into law. And I have it, I'll link it with the video. I read it and show you the law in the video that our country is founded upon the 7 Noahide principles. And like without it, all of civilization would crumble. This is real. And there's nothing like that with like the 10 Commandments. They're very reminiscent of like 10 Commandments. There's nothing wrong with them. I don't think most people would be like, this is wrong. I don't want this to be in law that our country, but it literally says like the United States was founded on these principles. Super interesting stuff to me. 1990. And people like Isabella Brown, or Isabel, I keep calling her Bella. She works for the Daily Wire. She's sitting there with her 1776 necklace. She's the biggest piece of propaganda I've seen in a long time. It's so funny. The person saying propaganda. It's like your whole channel is propaganda. But yeah, that sucks. At least you can see both sides of the coin. Merrick has said, yes, I am good at that. Good night, Kirk. Gonna read up on these acids. Thanks, Gloom said. Kinda strange, Barry said. Yes. Happy Easter. You too, tragic. Yes, I'm a wife, Jerry. I've been married 16 years. Try to live off the grid. Yes, Michael, we did for a year. And if we didn't have children, we probably would have stayed, but we ran out of money. Gloom, trees mean possibly a cabin. I am not gay. I meant to say they are going to send them to hell, Fendi said. Is that what he said? Or is that what he said in his tweet? It was something really crazy that was like, wow, even for Trump, that was inappropriate. Sorry, guys. A joint would get the tar on your finger or lips and it smells exactly like shit. Beacon said, yeah, I know what you mean. It bad. I don't know about that, but I know what you mean. Mandatory biometric digital ID in many is beast system, in my opinion. 42 countries and all European nations rolling it out. Yes, Camo, I do agree. The mass surveillance, like Palantir and everything. Julia, my husband came and got my girl dog was in here, but now they're in bed. um, I don't know what YN means still. Go Rogo. Jesus died for you and rose again today. Chloe said. Hi, Scott. How are you? From 9 to 5 religion into digital religion, Gloom said. Thank you, Mr. Carey. No, that's what I said, Fendi said, okay. Because I was like, wait, I think that he did say that. I was like, I remember hearing him say, I could have sworn he said something about going to hell. He is so crazy. But yeah, I never thought this would happen personally. And I do want to make some edited videos just touching upon like these are crazy, crazy times we're in. I just wonder if even like I don't feel like personally it's going to go nuclear. I think that they use that to scare us all into submission and to remain dominant. Like, I don't believe anything 100%. But yeah, it is so crazy that I mean it. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm against anybody, but I can't support the military and what the military is doing. At the same time, yeah, I'm glad that there's anybody doing it so that's less time at least until the draft. But let's be real. Um, Ideally, the most ideal situation, in my opinion, would be for the military members to refuse to take part in this. This isn't security for our country. This isn't securing our freedom here at home. You know what I mean? Like, God stamps on hearts of mankind, common sense. Up to us to use it, Michael said. Yeah, go Roga. We bought 23 acres with cash. We sold our first home, so then we bought because you can't finance land that easily. So we had the 23 acres owned outright, right? And the property taxes were like $500 or $600 a year. And we put, like, the largest shed conversion, at least this company made. It was, like, almost 700 square feet. We had 4 bedrooms framed out, and, yeah, everything this was right after COVID, everything in the supply chain was really expensive. We were on solar. It was, like, gonna be years before we could have, like, air conditioning or a water heater, and we got over it, so we sold it. Go Rogo. No, I'm not on cocaine. That's so gross. Fendi, I don't see anything wrong with not wanting to support because I sure as hell don't and won't. I just feel guilty. That's what's like. It's interesting because it's like I know it's not right to support people who are in support of bombing schools and doing things like this is war crimes. And it just goes to show a president can go against national treaties and commit war crimes, talk about it, and actually do it, and nothing happens. Trump should be in prison right now. And I'm not going to say, in my opinion, that's like Trump should be in prison along with a lot of his cronies, honestly. And it's not gonna, I mean, I shouldn't say it's not gonna happen, like I know for sure, but you know what I mean? It's like pretty much no, that's not gonna happen. And that's why he gets away with it and continues to do everything. I'm a Vietnam era veteran, and the draft may return after the body bags start coming back, Michael said. Well, thank you for your service, Michael. And hi Petro. I don't want to disrespect anybody who served because like I said, like I know like everything had to happen for it to get to this point where we're here now. And I do believe I was watching Maya Blahlik, the Blossom woman. She has a really good podcast and she has a lot of NDE people that she talks to that had an NDE near death experience. And There's this one guy that it was so neat, the stuff, and it was really cool what he said he met Jesus and he knew it was Jesus and he couldn't see his skin because there was so much light coming from him. He couldn't really tell what his face looked like. Isn't that cool? And like he didn't say I'm Jesus, but he just like knew it was Jesus. And he wasn't like I died on the cross for your sins. I mean, I'm okay, maybe he did say that and the guy just didn't say that, but it's interesting to me when people in these NDEs talk about meeting Jesus, they it's just like, yeah, they knew, like, he was who the Bible says he was in the way that, he was a pure love, and I think that's cool. Not about to support war criminals or terrorists, Fendi said. Yes. And I have, family, I have uncles, there's a nephew by marriage. I'm not related to him by blood that is in the army right now. And of course I thought about him, but he signed up for it like long ago, but still he's so young. And oh my gosh, somebody that married somebody I really love is from a military family. I don't want to like just I had a friend who got pregnant with her first baby at 16. I'm pretty sure these people are still together. They got married really young. I think they were both 16 when they got married. Her husband was in the military, and we were really good friends for a few years. And he was stationed at Fort Knox. We went to high school together, but then, we reconnected when I lived in Louisville and she lived in Fort Knox. And not to like sound not okay. I was the person she called. I know that sounds like I'm making it about me. I know the sacrifice that many families go through. And like a lot of people that join the military, they do it because they have no other choice or they have no better choice, right? And they used to offer a lot for the average person trying to get a leg up on life, especially if you're a teen father or something. And I think about them and like how, he was always about to end his, when his contract ended, he was always about to get out and they always offer him something and like sweeten the deal and make it so he had to sign another 2-year contract. And anyways, and she happened to be illegal. She was born in Mexico and she never got like legal status, at least up until that point. So I've wondered about them a lot, like what's happened with them. I'm sure she was like going to school the last I saw in like college. So I think about that and I'll never forget my friend texting and calling me in the middle of the night that she hadn't heard from her husband that he is in a war zone in Afghanistan. And like she just like the sacrifices a lot of people make, it's not just the military people, and it's like their family can't control them. And like, so I think about like all the mothers like me that had a son that just went and signed up because like, and she couldn't control, I have empathy for that. Oh my gosh. But I do agree with you, Fendi. I don't support criminals or terrorists. No guarantee that the volunteer military will last, Michael said. I just hope if it comes to that, Michael, the draft, I really sincerely hope that there will be a greater awakening and like we can all do what we should be doing. Like we should be going on strike. The No Kings March is cute and everything. And I don't mean to demean any, like I'm glad there's people that want to peacefully protest. But where is it getting us? 8 million people peacefully protesting. And what has changed? When can we all actually strike? When can we all say we're not going to get gas this week? Or, we're not going to shop for a week or two. Explain one reason why Trump should be in prison and the 19th Amendment should not be abolished. Kaden! Those two things, it's so weird. Caden and Barry, for a split second, your avatars looked exactly alike. Well, first of all, Trump has gone against, I forget which treaty it was, but you're not supposed to bomb civilians anythings. And the way he's threatening, hasn't he already bombed some power plants? That's against some kind of international war treaty. Hi, John, how are you? And the 19th Amendment will never be abolished. Y'all need to keep in mind that women fought so long for decades, and even when women were fighting for our rights to vote, there was other women saying, I don't care. I don't want to vote." That's fine. Then just don't vote. But there was men who allowed women to have the right to vote, and I thoroughly believe there was just enough good men that realized how crazy it is to say that women shouldn't be allowed to vote. Meanwhile, the people that commit well over 80% of violent crimes, all crimes, the gender that commits the most crime and wreaks the most havoc They should be the only leaders of society and only women. We're just here to birth the babies and influence all children, mostly. Okay, there are dads that do it sometimes too. Let's be real. Most caretakers of children during their most formative years are women. And if a woman is good enough to birth your babies and raise them from 0 to 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever, like I think you should trust her enough to like have a say in politics and a vote, you know? Um, that's so funny that you said both those things. They can try to draft us now more than ever. Everyone should own a firearm. The Second Amendment was made for this very reason, right, Barry? I think a lot more would be different if we didn't have that. And I agree with you, especially in Kentucky. Blossom is a legitimate genius. She really is. B. Kirkman. Dr. Mayim Blalik. What would Jesus say about the Iran war? Michael said. Jesus died so you can live, Iron said. Yeah, it's really interesting how some people, and I know not no, no, nobody's saying Jesus in particular, but some people are using religion as an excuse, you know? Go Rogo said he signed up for it. Yeah, he signed up for the army. It's different than being drafted into it. When you sign up, you know that there's a good chance you might end up in a war zone. And my heart broke when I heard he signed up for it. Because this kid, I'm just going to say it, he comes from a wealthy family. It's like the wealthiest person I've ever seen go and join the army besides like Prince Harry or whoever that kid was that did that. I forget if it was Harry or Henry. What are their names? But anyways, that's neither here nor there. It's just like most people who join the military aren't wealthy. They come from poorer families, and a lot of them join so they can go to college and have more, benefits. And they earn it, man. Okay, potato. When I say terrorists, I'm referring to the US and the soldiers, Mindy said. It's not funny. See, that's what I'm saying. It's so fucked up. It's like I never thought it really is like discombobulating. Like I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow, go Iran. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm hoping that the country, but like I can't be okay with what's happening. I just smoked and I'm watching Teen Mom with Amber and Gary Stone. Papa, have you heard about all the drama with Janelle? It's so sad. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, it's Teen Mom, like the first season. Janelle has a son, Jace, and Janelle was one of the most chaotic people on Teen Mom. And she raised that little boy screaming with her mom, getting into fights with her mom, her and her mom screaming. I mean, like, screaming. Like, this boy had to have been traumatized by his childhood. And now he's having issues, 16 years old. It's all over the internet. I shouldn't be talking about it because I don't believe in talking about minors, but it's just interesting if you're a Teen Mom fan. You saw how chaotic it was when Jace grew up, and now he's like has mental issues. It's like, oh, no wonder. Okay, I used to love Trump until I found out he was a chosen one. Yeah, I mean the Epstein files was what really. I mean, I was disappointed in a lot of stuff that had to do with farming and agriculture, and with Joel Salatin wasn't a part of whatever he was going to be a part of, the USDA or something like that, something involving agriculture. I was okay with JFK. I have mixed feelings. I saw Kennedy Jr. speak in Chicago in like 2012 or 2013. I went to one of these conferences and he was there with Representative Dan Burton from Indiana. They've been doing this for years. They've been making money from parents of vaccine injured children for years. Let's just say that. And like I said, I am a vaccine injured person myself, but I was learning about all of these things with a lot of people who consider their kids to be. I'm 76 and remember one problem with professional military was most citizens not affected as with the draft when most citizens did care, Michael said. Oh, thank you, Mr. Carey. Why is sandwich meat round when bread is square? Dave said. I cut that in half and then put like the flat edges, along the edges and then like cut the sandwich in the center. That's how I deal with that. I remember the draftees are mostly good soldiers, Michael said. What's up from Tennessee? Desmond said, "Oh, I'm doing good. I always do this. I'm like a grandma. I'm gonna go soon. That was a mistake. First thing they did was vote to ban alcohol." I just so said. Oh, goodness. Jesus died so you can live. Women vote the wrong way literally every single time. Too much emotion on it affects. How do you know that, Caden? That's so presumptuous of you. Women vote the wrong way literally every single time. Wasn't it white women that actually like tipped the scales and they're like the main demographic why Trump won this last time. Am I wrong? Because I thought it was like white women, and there are these statistics. It tends to be a woman is more liberal and she's not married. She tends to lean more conservative if she is married, but that's still not true all the time. And there are men who vote differently than you, which I'm assuming that's what you mean by wrong all the time. And you remind me of this guy, David, that was saying I was whining. Meanwhile, he's like literally saying the same sentence with exclamation marks, sounding like a complete whiner himself. It's like, you think that women are too emotional? You're being overly emotional. Too much emotion, not enough facts. What is going on with over 80% of violent crimes? Too much emotion, not enough facts, often with men. Did you know the number one cause of death in with pregnant women in our country, the US, is homicide, often the hands that got them pregnant? But I'm sure you're probably, Caden, not to put words in your mouth, but I'm sure a lot of people out there, when I say that, I know what you're thinking, and you thought it too. Oh, well, what they deserved it. She said something. She must have deserved it. That woman that got left to die on the mountain when there was like a rescue crew and a helicopter trying to rescue them, and the guy flags them off. No, and they're like calling his phone because he had to get a permit to climb this mountain. And he just has his phone on do not disturb as he's leaving his dying girlfriend who died on that mountain. There's still people saying shit like that. She must have talked back to him. What is emotional if it's not a being that can't stand somebody saying something that they don't like, that they don't agree with? Is that not irrational and over emotional? And that's what so many men are. They're socialized. I feel empathetic to a certain point to not develop these emotions. They're socialized in a certain way that it's like, no, it's not all their fault. But once we're all grown adults, it's your responsibility. Um, do you know that when the time came, the majority of women didn't want voting rights for the responsibility, but there were certain groups looking for more voters? B. Kirkman said, yeah, B. Kirk, I touched upon that. Like, yeah, there were always women that said, I don't want this. No. And I do think it is an interesting conversation. It used to be just property owners, right? Just like rich white property owners were the only people that were allowed to vote at first. And then women that were all about abolition, fighting for black people to not be treated like fucking slaves, like animals anymore. They were like, hey, I think maybe we should think about our own rights now, because they played a instrumental part, women in the abolition movement, and then men came and took all the credit. And this is just what I've read. And a lot of those women were like, "Hey, we're tired of them taking credit for all these social movements." Like they were changing things, and that was a okay. Tim Pools Booker. I have proof of this. I do not have a picture of her post. I'm so mad I didn't take a picture of the post. Her name's like Isabella something, I think. Tim Pools Booker and I went back and forth on Twitter because she was bragging about how she taught her fourth grade daughter at the time that women shouldn't be able to vote. And her fourth grade daughter literally wrote in a test, like an essay answer, like how she doesn't think women should be able to vote. And of course, the teacher, in the nicest way possible, was like, no, that's not it. That's not it, girl. And I was like, how can you, as a woman, teach your developing daughter's mind that she is less than, that she shouldn't be able to, like, that is wild to me. That is absolutely wild. And her answer was, well, women got the like age to marry, whatever, the legal age of marriage to be raised. It was like 9 or 12 or something crazy low. And it was because of women basically like lobbying for it, although that's not the term that was used. They played a part. They were inspiring laws and legislation. Even if they couldn't vote, they could still do things like inspire laws and legislation. And she stopped talking to me when I was like, listen to yourself. You're saying that because they got men to stop marrying children, that they don't deserve the same rights as those men who are marrying children. And yeah. So if you want to teach your daughter, I guess it's your right as a parent, but when I kind of look at that as a vegan diet, because I think we should teach all of our kids within reason. I have a level 3 autistic son. I don't, realistically, it's not the same with every kid across the board, but we should be letting our kids know with enough hard work and effort, they can do absolutely anything they want. That should be the only thing you're instilling in them, boy or girl, that they can do anything they want in this world and it's full of opportunity. There should never be any talk of, and like Oh, okay, like if you're a minority and you want your kid to know the reality of the world, that's different. Okay, there are always exceptions, but still, it shouldn't be an everyday conversation. Hey, Whitey hates you. Remember to hate Whitey back. You know what I mean? And like, it's just awful when people instill those kinds of things in their kids. You shouldn't be able to vote because women are just so irrational. Women are the irrational ones. Meanwhile, men were the ones marrying children. Women didn't ever have to be told, and I know there's female perverts, I know, trust me, but they didn't ever have to be told, hey, quit marrying those 10-year-old boys. I like Mastiff dogs, Luca. Okay, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, Oliver Sanderson. Okay, that is funny. Trump's ballroom, stop it, legal troubles, what a mess. Why a ballroom? No reason. I think, Michael, I think that it's his bunker. I don't think it was ever really a ballroom. And this is like big speculation. I don't think I'm God. I don't think that I'm right 100% of the time. You're new on YouTube, Katie. Are you having fun? Slices, she cheated on him. Oh my God, Slices. Who are you talking about? Um, she's going full Steinham on Easter Sunday. Slices is a troll that I like. Women vote for charisma most. Not me, Michael. There's always exceptions, and I do understand. Yeah, okay, so statistics, but it's funny how the people that rag on women, why don't you ever try to rag on the liberal, left-leaning men? Why do you never try to check your peers? Especially with the misogyny running rampant in the world, it'd be better coming from you than one of us. Like they'll be so quick to call out the double standards when it comes to a lot of things, which yes, there are definitely, especially in the court system, there are, and but like people want to go on and on. Like you guys don't understand how many times a week I make this comment. Kentucky was the first state to set precedent and give 50-50 custody across the board in divorce hearings to fathers and mothers. First state, and a few other states have since done it, but there's still the majority of states don't do that. If there was really, if men's rights groups really wanted to, I think they'd be lobbying for 50-50 custody. But let's be real, guys. Let's be real. Okay. And I don't mean this directly to anybody personally, but just think about it. Let's be real. A lot of dads don't want that 50-50 custody. Okay. It's just true. And that's why it's like, we could help with the unfair court systems. You seem like a very smart lady. For some reason, the Democrats do the opposite, rather good, not good. Tom said, yeah, I just think they're all the same. Thank you, Jackie. American politics is so funny to me. Like people will lose friends over politics. Oh, 18. Milo, yes. My mother-in-law, she had a lifelong friend since kindergarten. And they stopped talking when they were like in their 60s over Obama. By the way, I'm not against female voters, but I was just saying, B. Kirkman, oh, you're fine. Everybody is welcome here. Like, I remember Fendi, if you're still in here, I remember Fendi told me he didn't think women should be able to vote. As long as you're respectful to me, I think that's fine. I just hope that if anything, maybe I can be part of the reason why, if anybody, even one man, decides, hey, maybe all women, I always, like I said, I registered to be independent. My mom got in my face and she's like, you registered Democrat and we vote straight Democrat. Like before we were just about to like play in a game. We were a sports team or something. And I was like, no, no. I registered independent. I researched everybody. This was like Obama. I voted for Obama, but he said that he was going to decriminalize marijuana. And I remember, oh my gosh, if you guys don't know, there's still like federal raids taking place on people who had a medical marijuana license. It was horrible. Dogs being shot, kids being hurt over a plant that was legal in some states, but in the feds were still how much money, time, energy, effort was wasted over a plant that people were thinking they were legally grown. And it was so dumb. And that was my first taste of like, and then him bombing Syria and finding out and being like, wait, why? Why? Obama bombed a lot. And like, so I was like disillusioned then, but like I said, I did want Trump to win all 3 times. I admit it. I just didn't vote. Hi, Jackie. If I didn't say hi, what is the point of having the right to vote if you already have power and influence? Why would you need it or want it? Well, Barry, I think that it's kind of like we're all paying taxes, you know? I think if you pay taxes, and I know people are going to say, oh, not everybody's like, um, a lot of people don't really give much into the system at the end of the day, but still, yeah. Enough of us pay enough. Michael, women to this day vote for charisma. Fact. Not all women, though, Michael. Because how did I destroy my own argument? And what about the men that vote for the left? So are they voting for charisma? Because we all know that's what's going on. Is like we're talking about Democrats, and I just see them like I really loved Tulsi, and she was like the only Democrat I liked for a bit. And I was so happy when she was like, I'm Republican. I cried. This was a few months ago. I was like, oh, this is so great, Tulsi. Oh. And then now look at it. It's interesting. And it's just another lesson learned that like what matters most is what goes on in your immediate environment. And it is important to be aware of politics, especially local politics, but small towns are just as corrupt as cities. You know what I mean? If anything, the corruption is a little worse because there's not enough people to like check it. There's not enough people to be like the good apples mixed in with the bad apples, which is mostly bad apples. And Titus Morris is proof of that. How he keeps getting away with all this sexual deviant shit and running after somebody with a chainsaw. Literally, and he's on camera with a chainsaw. Like I just, but anyways, it is also nice that Kentucky isn't like some states. It's like, the cops get called and like somebody has to be arrested. And like Kentucky isn't like that. And one time, my friend, Kentucky for the win on 50-50 custody. Yes, Michael. I think that it should be like that everywhere. I saw my friend one time she was obviously beaten up and the guy ran his car into her porch. It was bad. And like we got there and the cops were leaving. They did nothing because of course she didn't, typical like domestic violence stuff. She didn't want to press charges. But anyways, I still think that like they could have done something. But anyways, there's my friend that passed away. Dolly Parton said women don't feel the need to explain themselves, Odin said. This is how I look at it, guys. We're all people. And the like putting people into categories, like even I say like 80, even though I'm just trying to like give some perspective. I don't walk around thinking men commit most crime. I don't think most men commit crime. You know what I mean? And like I said it before, I feel more safe in the vicinity of most men. Most men make me feel safer. You get that vibe when it is a true creeper. Oh my gosh, I watched a shorts where this chick in Australia was getting gas, and the whole time there was this guy creeping. Man, it was so creepy. And there's people, so many comments about it. And it's like, that's just the life of being a young, attractive woman, which I know I've hit the wall. I'm glad I'm not as pretty as I used to be and as pretty as this chick was. But like, it just invites so much bullshit with it. We all struggle the same. We all have to pay the same bills. We all have to pay the same gas prices when they get high and, we all have to suffer through this, but I can't wait to share more. I haven't ordered my soil yet because, but like definitely by the last frost date, which is like April 20th. Everything's a conspiracy theory, including what merging on the freeway means. If the placentas for the baby or Trump's hair conditioner. Odin. Penny, are you saying that's right? So when I met, one of the first things you said, you don't think women should vote. Enjoy your war on intelligence and children, Odin said. Ooh, that's quite ominous. Women should be able to vote for America Idol and stuff like that. Oh, sound pop up. Are you willing to go to war with your own life? Captain, women risk their lives. 80% of women have babies. 80% of men don't participate in war. That's how I look at it. We literally risk our lives to bring new life to Earth, and that is our lot in life. More of us do more of that than men that get drafted. And I do not want to be disrespectful towards men that get drafted or served, but that's how I feel about it. Women have their own battles in life. It's called being pregnant and never being able to hold your pee in the rest of your life. We go to war in our freaking bodies. Imagine sharing your body with another human being and then having to birth them. You guys, and that if that was more revered and like that's what I'm like, it shouldn't be that's all that women are good for, of course, because not all women are going to procreate, and that's fine. But Michael, you don't know Newsom. Satan is also charismatic, Michael said to Michael. I'm independent, don't like either side. Me either, Billy. Women are nurturers, most women, but that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody should be allowed to be their own individual self, and we need to quit this. Like, I think men, I'm very open minded. Like, I think men should be able to wear makeup. Would I want to be with a man that wore makeup? No. I'm just saying, I think that it should be like we need to quit looking down on anything that's considered feminine. And like, that is so horrible to, be like a girl, be feminine. There's a big difference between smoking weed and smoking meth. Yes, there is 18. I think if we respect our neighbors and take pride in ourselves and what we do and be patriotic and do our part for the betterment of America and keep our firearms, then we'll be fine. I, Professor Yang, you guys know who I'm talking about. I know Fendi does. He had this great video the other day. Although I watched this video where it was like a hit, it wasn't his voice, it was like an Americanized robot voice. I did not like that at all. I did not like that. It was like his channel collaborating with another channel. I just thought that was so like cheesy. I'm sorry. He speaks good English. And he was like it, saying the perspective things that could, this is the outcome possibly, and this is another possible outcome. And then he said, he either Trump is the worst president we've ever had, or this was done on purpose. He's trying to, he didn't say this, but this is my term I keep using. It's a controlled demolition. We were unsustainable. Our debt was unsustainable. So much of what you guys don't know, like our banking system is like antiquated. We use this like old, I don't know if it's considered software, whatever it is, it's like antiquated from the 80s. Nobody can work on it and shit because it's just like it's kinda like what they say about the math for the moon. "Oh, we could do it, we just don't have the right people to do it." And, it's really, really crazy. Totally lost my train of thought. I think if we respect our and that all of it, the everything going on with inflation, there's always inflation, but the stagnated wages on top of like periods of hyperinflation, there was no sustaining this. There's too many people. There is AI coming onto the scene to take so many jobs, and all of that combined, like it's a controlled demolition. They knew they might as well make as much money of you and your friends, your family on your way out as possible, right? There's definite like stock market manipulation. That's not the right term for it, but you know what I mean. There's definite like they're feeding off this information they have ahead of time and making certain moves in the stock market. I'm from Louisville, Savage, but I live like in central Kentucky now. But I was raised mostly in southern Indiana, really close to Louisville, but like I lived in Louisville a lot as an adult. And I lived in Florida and California too. She would run from a draft. Captain, not necessarily. I'm pretty badass. You have no idea. But I do have 3 hernias, and I probably wouldn't be too great for too long. I would be peeing all over myself all the time. Oh my gosh, I have to pee literally like every half hour. I'm surprised I haven't this whole time I've been on here. But anyways, um, like I said, I've birthed babies. I've given birth to a baby, and I don't think all women have to do this, but I'm proud of myself. I don't think there's anything wrong with setting a goal and being proud. I birthed an 8-pound baby naturally. So can you do that, Captain? Can you push an 8-pound human being out of your body after developing them for 10 months in your womb? Big issues to custody is religion and culture. My grandparents told my dad he should have no rights to us kids because he left my mom. Oh, that's so sad, Dylan. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that things have gotten better in your family since then. It's just such a shame. There aren't any easy answers when it comes to like kids being caught in divorce, but I was happy when my parents got divorced. He would bankrupt the country, Magnolia. Yeah, like it's I know that's not technically what's going on. It's crazy how Doge was so promoted and we were supposed to be like doing better and better financially, and it's just like he just keeps cutting the funds to more and more stuff. I mean, the list, it was like literally like 3 or 4 screens full of things because it's $1 trillion is a lot of money. I keep talking about this one statistic. It's like $1 million is 11 days and seconds. It would be 11 days if 1 million seconds happen consecutively, $1 trillion would be 37,000 years of seconds. Like, that's a lot. Like, most of us can't, like, we hear billion. Oh, yeah, that's a lot. The fact that they're talking about trillions and then all the billions and millions they're taking off of all these other things. And I even a lot of the things I look at, I think like that sounds like it might be a little necessary. You know what I mean? Um, I love animals and stuff, but, like, yeah, do we and this wasn't one of them, but, like, do we need to be paying for, like, research of bats? But I also know that's some people's livelihoods, don't get me wrong, but, like, what goes on in your heart, Rick said. Queen, hi, how are you? You would definitely run from a draft. Kentucky was the first state I went through with a dry county, Isaac said. Yeah, there's a lot of those here. This is all division by design. My thoughts, Gloom said. I agree. Beautiful and intelligent, hard to find. And you definitely are both. Thank you, Billy. That's very sweet. If not a politician lies, it's what they lie about. They try to appeal to a lot of people and everyone had different views. Yes, Milo. Gloom, thanks to Oprah, Jerry Springer, Maury, Ricky, etc. handlers. Yes, Cheer Denise has been reading this Oprah book. It is so interesting. My spaceship runs on THC crystals. That's cool, Sway Way. We are not all the same. Oligarchs and their children have it easy. Yeah, Eric, I agree. I say the owning class. There's like the owning class and the working class. And I don't mean this like to incite any violence, although sometimes I do think we're going to have to get our hands dirty. You know what I mean? Or like some people will, but like it's the owning class of people that don't have to work. And even the working class, I don't care if you make six figures. If you have to work to live, you're not part of the owning class. I'm sitting in like this dining room chair. It's not really big. Tom said, "Come on, we are all equal." We're equal on a certain level, but it's all over the place when it comes to certain things. But we should all be equal as human beings. That's how I look at it. We're humans. And even when I say stuff like men commit the vast majority of crimes, just could you imagine all the people that talk shit about women if women did over 80% of crimes? Like they would talk about that nonstop. But like even when I say like it's still like I do not, especially when it comes to like black people. I've had way more good experiences with black people than bad. So I don't come upon a black person and automatically think bad things like some people do. And oh my God, I couldn't imagine. Oh, White Point Entertainment, how are you doing tonight? I hate to say this, but I don't find this woman attractive. I think she's a bit too old and past her prime. Catholicism is cool. Oh no, somebody. It's been a while since this has happened, guys. It's been a long time since I couldn't get somebody's dick hard. And it's like the most biggest disappointment to me. I really need to get on my game. I'll make sure I try to do better tomorrow, Catholic, so I can turn more people on because that's the whole point of existing if you're a woman, right? That's right, Lydia. Voting is grown man business, Wendy said. Well, I think anybody who participates in the system should be able to be a part. Casey Anthony wasn't exactly a nurturer. True, Stone Papa. Men should be men, Jamil. But that encompasses anything a person could be. Men wear makeup and heels in Victorian age, right, Magnolia? It's been a thing for a long time. Even like in the 80s, it was more accepted. I I feel for people that feel like they have to like change their gender when I think in a perfect world, you could just be an extremely feminine man or an extremely masculine woman and not have to like go through all these horrible things medically and stuff. But I've never had gender dysphoria, so who asked you, cool Catholics? The E said. If women are nurturers, then why are child abuse cases 2 times higher with moms? Well, Barry, this is how okay. So it's like saying male pilots crash planes more often than female pilots. Do you understand the problem with that? There's way more male pilots than female pilots, right? So it makes sense that there's more pilots that are crashing planes that are males. But actually, women's hand-eye coordination really is better. Really are. But seriously, women are the caretakers way more. So there's going to be way more incidences of abuse. I'm not trying to justify it. I'm not trying to negate it in any way. It's horrible. It's evil. But there are more cases of abuse towards children when women are involved because children are in women's care significantly more. I hope that makes sense with the pilot analogy. That's what I came up with in my TikTok time when I was trying to dispel the high value man rumor. And especially like, a few years ago, we were already seeing like all the changes coming. And it's like, how could you think that you're going to help? But they're not there to help men. But like some of these people try to act like they're there to mentor people and tell them that like they can only be a human being that's considered high value if they are like, and Kevin Samuels, this the principles were like they had to have a network of other high value men. And it's just like so many people are doing worse than ever and more isolated than ever. It's just so horrible. Women should be given high praise 24/7 for being mom and wife. Amen. That's nice, Michael. If they are, yes. Trump's doing it on purpose. He has to, unless he wants Israel to expose him. Fendi said, yeah, thank you, John. Can you do ASMR very quick, please? Carissa, no. Go through life with a true heart and good intentions. You'll get your praise, CE said. Yes, I like to think that too. But then, there's always something that humbles me and makes me realize that we really have our own paths and there's no like some people are just given a bad hand of cards. Hello again, I had a call and you're still on. Oh, Michelle, I know I can't go. I'm glad you came back. Alabama here, John said. That's good. How are you? Thank you, Benji. The most important knowledge you could possibly share is the placenta is for the baby, not Trump's hair conditioner. Oh, you already said that. I remember that. And you already said enjoy your war. You must be a bot, so I'm gonna hide you. There has to be some inflation because zero isn't possible, and almost everyone, or at least most, don't know how that inflation is caused by too much free money being handed out with many social programs. Yes, B. Kirk, you're right. That's why I said periods of hyperinflation. That's why I said that specifically. But yes, you're right. There's always inflation. However, there's not always wage stagnation. And in the last 40 years, there's been wage stagnation taking place with the inflation. And that's what's really bad, you know? Did you guys hear how New York City is trying to get $30 minimum wage? Like, that does sound great, but I also understand how, like, small business owners just can't cough up $30 an hour for people. Like, this is horrible. Like, I understand that, but I also, like, think it's good that the wages aren't so fucking stagnated in our biggest city. I don't know. If you don't live off of someone else, they can't take it away, Ducky said. Yeah, I mean, there is something to being like, some people are disabled and they really do need the disability, and I'm glad that they have it. You know what I mean? It's like, just keep in mind, like, most people don't live off of, I'm assuming that's what you mean, Ducky, like the government welfare. Most people don't unless they really need to. It's so hard to, I had one son on Medicaid. I don't even know how that happens. One out of two. And they just took it away this month. But anyways, I'm gonna apply for disability for him. The parasite class, Edgesail said, you mooch off of people. Yeah, I can't wait to get disability so I can get even more therapy tools and therapy sessions and everything for my son. I have no problem at all getting help from our government. I think they owe it to us. I think they owe a lot to a lot of us. I believe in reparations. I do. Yeah. I think that people of Native American and African descent, I know there's people who are like immigrants since then, but, people that are like what they call, like, isn't it called foundational Black Americans? People that know that they have ancestry from here. They should get reparations in some kind of form. I don't think it's right that they haven't. I'm doing good, Joseph. How are you? Why is innocent looking people are always serial killer Superman? I don't know. Are they? Okay, Lydia, who are you timing out first, honey? Okay, I really am going to go. Hi, Elmar. How are you? I appreciate all of you guys staying in Sales Gloomstead. Barry, in my opinion, all the criticism towards women started when all the man hate propaganda went too far. As a whole, men didn't really care at first, but then it went too far. Barry, yes, I don't think you were in here when I said it, but I did. Like, I get it. I was making YouTube videos, and you guys, I almost went the like men's rights. So much of a girl's girl. I couldn't make a career. I couldn't make a YouTube career off of just like demon because you have to like it's just like left or right, right? You have to be like stunt everything. And there's some people I follow like this male feminist type. Sometimes like he just sides with the woman to side with the woman, and it's not fair. But anyways, everybody's allowed to have their own opinions. But I do understand that, and that's what I said. It's like the third wave feminism, I think, and there was a bunch of feminists saying that male babies should be aborted and shit like that. And they're like, don't hold the door open for me. Like, I do get that. But y'all also have to understand, like, a shitty woman, she's shitty to women too. And it sucks for all of us to be around them. It's just like, um, I don't agree with that at all. Don't listen to nothing she says, ZC said. Like, I'm sitting here, like, giving rules for life out to people. I'm JK about the voting thing, Lydia. I really don't care anymore about that. Well, good, Fendi. See, that's what I'm saying. Like everybody, even if somebody, unless their opinion is a death threat for me or my child, I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to people's opinions. And it takes a lot to offend me because I always look at people as like, well, their experiences made them think that way. It wasn't my doing. Do you ever think about how cool it would be if men were allowed to be pregnant like women? I just think it's unfair that I'm not allowed to be pregnant because I'm a man. That's sweet, Bojack. I'll never forget one time my husband got tears in his eyes when I was nursing our first baby, and he said, I'm just gonna tell you guys I know it sounds goofy, but he said, I wish I had milky boobs. And he like starts crying, and so I'm like crying and laughing, and he's like crying and laughing. It was one of those moments. That's what I'm saying. You can't like cry with your man sometimes. You're missing out on life. We've cried laughing at shit. We've like cried and then laughed, laughed and then cried. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how many times we've like laughed and cried together on our couch, on a couch. But yeah. That was like a super sweet moment where it was kind of like him acknowledging what I did was really cool. You know what I mean? And it's not to put women in a special class of citizens. It's not at all. Just the same way that men want respect, women thrive off respect too. That's not just a male thing. I do understand. Like you really do like, you know what I mean? Like men really probably thrive off of it a little bit more. I guess a child's upbringing is mainly about the environment he lives in. I saw a person look like a big bear. He was so nice and they are good looking people greedy as hell. Superman said it really has a lot to do. Everything. White Point. I'm really happy to catch up with you again. The time zone difference made it hard for me to join the live streams, but I've been enjoying your content off stream. I am going to be uploading a lot this week, White Point. So I really appreciate, and I'm doing the members only tomorrow. I think I'm going to do my members only book readings from now on. That's not to say I'm not going to chat, but you know what I mean? Like every Monday is going to be a book reading. I don't know the Stray Kids. That's the second time somebody asked me that. I feel like these billionaires are just taking away the bare minimum stage our taxes are supposed to be used for. Crazy. OMFG, yes. I am not Indian. I have a tiny bit of Cherokee in me, but not much. Like mostly English, Irish, a quarter Swiss, and a quarter Colombian. America is stuck in discount mode. Coupon savings, all a debt ritual. Gloom said, oh my gosh, minimum wage will always be zero. Minimum wage laws only increase the cost of production. Most people are economically illiterate. Right, Juan? That's what I was saying. Like, I understand, especially small businesses can't just pay $30 an hour. Hi, John Henry. How are you, John? But it is this is unsustainable. Something's got to give. You know what I mean? We can't have everybody. No, that was the whole point of the American dream. You just worked full time, even if you were flipping burgers or doing something that is considered unskilled labor, you still made enough money to live off of and have a family. And I make $30 an hour and I'm a master mechanic. I have tons of money. I'm training and tools. And I feel like 30, I'm super underpaid. Oh, I see what you mean. So do you have debt with your tools, 80? Good for you, first of all, good for you, that's awesome, but, I understand. I've heard that a lot, it depends on where you live too. Even if you make 6 figures, it's so crazy. I never would have thought I'd be saying that, just in my 30s, like, 6 figures isn't what it used to be. Hello, can you pray for Mount Angel's Howler? And I'm 85, and I am what do you mean by the angel? Yep. Pray for Mount Angels, everyone. Hello from Sweden, Samurai. Hi, how are you? Was agreeing to the reparations. I never owned anyone. They don't deserve my tax dollars. Joe Jack said, it's not about you personally. It's not about like paying for the sins of your grandfathers. And I didn't agree if you're still in here, Joe. I didn't agree with them either until I learned about certain groups we gave reparations to, like the Japanese from the Japanese internment camps. It's like, okay, if we can give reparations to Japanese people for that, why can't we give reparations to slaves' ancestors? And that, and then, the no people got money from us. Stuff that didn't even happen in our country. And I just think that that's a little ridiculous. All the money floating around for like literally everything else. But like I said, I don't think I've said this. I don't necessarily think it should be like cash payments, at least something like a assistance with down payment on a home. I'm doing good, Mr. Kirkby. How are you? $30 minimum wage and mean all fast foods and grocery stores close. Guess sooner than later. America closed for business, Michael said. Yes, unless we could automate, there'd be less people working, but maybe uh, AI will help with that. White Point said, hey, Mr. Curry. It's funny how it says Curry. You're the second person to say Curry. You think women should pay on dates, Slices said. Well, that's for every couple to decide. I'm more traditional in that I think that men, I don't think that you have to pay a lot. I understand not wanting to invest hundreds of dollars, but I do think that the whole point is to court the woman, and she invests a lot of time and money, probably, most likely, not all women, into herself. And that's how it should be, the man paying for it. If people wanna decide to go Dutch, I completely think that's cool, but I haven't dated for 20 years, you guys, and every day I ever went on, it was like, no question, you know what I mean? Base jump or base rock, you must choose. Oh gosh, Daniel, neither. Thank you, BH, that's nice. I've eaten too much at, like, Thanksgiving and had a temporary food baby, B. Kirkman said. How excited for your new Michael Jackson movie coming out? Oh, I didn't know. I like Michael Jackson's music, but I probably won't watch the movie. You shouldn't tell other men about your husband crying slices of Christ. I asked him if I could tell that story before I told it on the internet. And that's the whole point. I was like, why he doesn't even show his face. So, and it shouldn't matter. Men should be able to cry over how beautiful it is for their beautiful wife to be providing all the sustenance that their son needs, because that is a beautiful thing. That's part of what life is all about, being in these physical bodies. We have to deal with all this other stuff, and isn't for everybody. Not everybody should be a parent. I don't mean it like that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with a man becoming overwhelmed with emotions in a good way. And like I said, he wasn't like bawling, crying. Do you think reparations should be paid by the root of the supply chain? Stone Papas, Murph, I don't know what you mean exactly by that, but like I said, maybe not cash payments. Free Iran. Or see, I'm saying Iran like a hick. I'm trying to say Iran and pronounce it right for the first time in my life. With King Reza Pahlavi. Is that who they're saying? Is that like who wrote the letter? I smoked a blunt with Jesus behind Quick Trip. It don't look good, Steve said. The Japanese had property they actually purchased, Daniel said. Yeah, I know. Well, Stuart, what are you? So, what you said? Did I say that I don't consume anything? Stuart said you're wearing earbuds made in a sweatshop, and you're on a phone made in a sweatshop, Stuart. I guess we're even. How old are you? I'm 39. Base a relationship on attraction and genuine. Um, I don't know what you're saying, high carb, but there definitely has to be genuine attraction for sure. In every possible world, there's where anything is intelligible. Either God is undefined, God is unintelligible, God is not metaphysically necessary, or God's classical attributes are mutually contradictory. In any of these cases, God cannot serve as a grounding of intelligibility, and the claim that God exists is either meaningless, unnecessary, or logically impossible. Welcome to atheism. Glad to have y'all. Oh, mushroom. Young Fish, are you in Louisville? Young Fish Tank, do you have a channel? I mean, I respect atheists, I really do, but I think that it's sad to think that, like, but you've got it all figured out, which you write beautifully. That was cool, but I don't agree with it at all. I don't think that our human minds are supposed to understand God. I don't know if your great grandfather harmed or did something worse to my great grandmother. Should your son have to take money he makes and give it to my son? Playing devil's advocate. B. Kirk. No, that's what I was saying. It's not about like paying the sins of your grandfathers. It's about our country is like one of the richest countries on the planet. And they should be able to help people who have been impoverished. Like once again, it's like generational poverty taking place. And a lot of these that's what the reparations are all about. If you really understand, a lot of slaves, when they were freed, they stayed on the plantation or they had nowhere to go. And then they went and they settled, they made communities, and then they flooded them out. They literally, here's a black town. We're gonna like terrorize these people till they leave because we're so racist, or we'll just make a lake here on this town of black people. Yeah, I think that there should be some like recognition and reparations for that. But I understand there's so much to go into it. That's just my feelings on the matter is like black people have contributed greatly to our country, and a lot of them, it's not ever going to be like equal opportunity, literally. That's kind of like impossible. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah. Oh, thank you, TX. Hi, Karen. How are you? I can probably guess her net worth, possibly 250K. She has a six-figure job. Eric, that's so funny. Okay, guess what? You're not supposed to judge others. Yeah, I know that a lot of people say that, but I think everybody does. It's in us. We wouldn't be able to survive, or we wouldn't have survived to this far if we didn't judge. You have to judge. And we're tribal beings, and it just makes sense. You look at somebody, you know immediately if they are like you or not in a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? And it's just like tribal in people to be comfortable around people like them, but not. That's what's so beautiful about America is like it some people are more comfortable in multicultural settings and they don't want to be around just one race of person. And that happens when you grow up in a place like America. I'll never forget. We moved from California to small town Indiana. First day of school, me and my brother came home and he said to my mom, he's like, Mom, there's nothing but white people here. And he wasn't saying it like, yeah, it was weird. And that's what is so precious about America. And what I feel like they're ruining. But I shouldn't say that. That's awfully negative. Hi, Joe. How are you? Actually, we are to judge, C said. I don't believe in the Easter Bunny because ducks lay eggs, stupid. 727. I know it is kind of funny. Well, it comes from like Istar, like a pagan ritual. It just makes sense that they didn't have like bunnies brought these eggs, but it was like symbols of fertility, which included bunnies because they can mate like crazy. Like they have a lot of offspring and eggs, which of course. But anyways, it was fun hanging out with you guys. I really appreciate everybody who stuck in here. Gloom, if you're still in here, Mr. Carey, Michelle. A lot of you guys were in here for a long time. Barry B. Kirk. Thank you for sticking around, Barry. I hope you have a great night. Please look out for my edited content. I really am slowly but surely getting better. I'd appreciate any of the help I can get with my edited content. Like, share, anything, please. I beg you. But I know not every video is like for everybody. Almost 57% of Black Americans receive some form of welfare, which I'm not against, but we can't pay that and reparations. B. Kirkman. So this is where I'm coming from. I see that and I'm like, that's a stat because of the way they've been treated for 400 years in our country. And I know things have slowly gotten a little better in some aspects. Just as women have gotten all of our rights, we don't have any rights that are, we have all of our legal rights, but we still have some ways to go socially, right? I never thought that men younger than me would think that I should have less rights than the men who were older than me. That's like just some study, but there's a lot to be said. They're having classes in the UK because, a young boy stabbed a girl to death, and it's just like clear that these thought patterns in the red pill, it's like the same five talking points, have really muddied the waters and hurt people. Good night, Glam. Good night, Barry. And I'm just putting it out there, not against this. No, B. Kirkman, I appreciate you. Everybody's allowed to say anything they want. You know what I mean, within reason. I say that, and like, of course, like I said, you have to be like crazy, overtly sexual, or sending death threats. That's what I really do sincerely like having conversations and having people that don't think exactly like me say things. Hi, Evizu. How are you? It's funny that Christ never speaks for himself. Every time I hear about Christ, it's someone else speaking for him. LOL. Jesus isn't real. Eric. Okay. I love you all. Good night. Happy Easter one more time. You too, Michael. I love you, Michael. Good night. I'm glad you said that. I remember you were in here for a long time. Good night.